Yeah, I think so. But
And now that I remember, it might have been a market in Minnesota. Some interest was going in around it.
it was the ARPA.
Most of it was commissioners.
What's the limit?
That's what I didn't know. That's what
Nathan back up last night, he said, when we had that special meeting here, Rick, Rick probably speaks to ARPA, not the ARPA.
Well, maybe it was.
Rick.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, it's like, they don't really, it looks like.
Yeah.
Now, I was in the overall. And then I went back home, it's like, when Nathan was in here yesterday. And I said,
to the rainy day, that's not legal. I think we have to do it.
the interest, the bank, I guess.
That's true, we can do that. We're gonna take it by. Maybe either we're gonna do it today or.
That may be one, yeah, well, and only, remember when. Like, you know, yeah, I remember that. And when Nathan came in yesterday, I want to say something, he was here, and I said, he was out the open mic. As soon as I said that, I thought,
Yeah.
that's the interest that's going around.
And the payback on the hospital goes into it's going there.
Into the rainy day fund, 35,000, into our rainy day. fund.
Cause I asked.
We need to
They're paying $25.
Oh, okay. You know, I don't know what the limit is on a rainy day.
I was trying to.
I think if you read the ordinance, there's a percentage of the total budget that would go to the rainy day. I don't.
Yeah, I've got that. You know, it's like, so you're gonna have to leave to the 80.
The other things that I would do that.
Yeah. We can search that, hey, a lot of it, we're gonna pull out the general fund. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I was trying to, or just bring it up. Because even 5 years, we get next, we get a chance to go check it out. If I have the answers. We're gonna have questions here. And it's supposed to be changed.
Yeah, that's what I.
Where you adjust. Because I was having trouble.
And then the other one you had is. Actually, it's definitely. Here he's. Whatever, he works so far, that's here, I would give up. Most of that came from the commissioner's side, so. Actually, that's pretty good cut too.
Pretty good, yeah.
Okay, here it is right here, guys.
That was kind of like trouble, man, is that?
In any fiscal year, we only transferred. I may have seen it that much, but
Yeah, council may not transfer more than 10% of county to an annual budget fiscal year.
I guess we close here, here, but it's just a bit less.
And 10%. What's our annual budget carry? Yeah, so. We're okay.
So we're, we all here, we sure even. Rather have rights to. All right, we'll bring the meeting to order here. The final day of budgets, I hope. Yeah. Good, Randy, I'll let you lead some prayer. I would please stand for it.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you, Lord, for the grace you've extended to us to be here another day. We thank you, Lord, for the work that you've allowed us to do over the past several days. Now help us today, Lord, continue on in that path to discern what is right and just, and for the county taxpayers, for the county employees, and for those that entrust us to do this job. We ask, Lord, to continue to watch over Kelly, give her healing and bring her back to this body in person in a speedy recovery. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. It's like Julie.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gary, you guys have been a discussion back there. Do you need to finish it before we throw you out there or?
No, I'll be honest, we're a little bit of scramble mode over this tier and salary stuff, so we were trying to sort it out.
Good luck. Now, you been watching the video? Well, then, welcome to the scramble. Good morning, Jerry. Good morning.
All right, looks like you're up. Page we have to.
Where we stopping first, sir?
All right, prosecutor, well, I typically try to do child support first, because it's pretty short, and that way it's gonna get back to work, instead of having to sit through all the criminal stuff first, it's cheap. We have two layers, child support. That's Title IV, that's Title IV, there's a general fund under Title IV, and then there's what's called the incentive fund under child support.
Take 44 and 97. We generally start by asking a couple questions, Sherry, about this. What's with the tiered thing and so forth? That is number one. Do you know what salary raise you put in on this budget?
Yes, I did a 6% for everybody is what I asked for. Again, not knowing what you all might grant 6%.
Right.
Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Second thing is to identify these payroll persons out of here.
Yes,
Can you do that for us? Deputy prosecutor?
that is Brent Seymour. Now he was the position we created full-time last year, if you recall, and he's paid both out of three funds, actually, the general fund, child support, the incentive fund child support, which is another deputy prosecutor, can see Brent. And then also, since he does have time work on the criminal side, he is on the criminal general fund too. So all three of those together over his salary.
Okay. For the administrator?
That is Stephanie Deal.
Just a minute. Oh, let me get to the product. What we're looking up as we go is the tiers to make sure that we can put them in this budget. Stephanie Deal.
Brett.
So she looks like a $1,000 longevity and a $5,000 tier.
I thought I'd follow along because I trying to get the tier information. I didn't have that till. See when you on my staff, my bad.
So Stephanie, we're looking at a $1,000 longevity and you have a $5,000 tier. That would mean that she is either a department head or a first deputy.
She is, yes, she runs our child support division. She's our administrator.
Okay. Good. Brent, he did not get it.
Brett is new. I think he just has a year in.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, next, secretary.
We have two. They're in. We have Kelsey Pilot and Heather Stockton.
Six and 900.
Kelsey is 600 longevity and 900.
Yep.
Okay, And Heather is a 6 and a 9. 600 longevity, 900. Okay. Receptionist,
That is Pam Barnhill.
Pam was, yeah,
8 and 18.
okay.
Is that all the initial questions, Randall? Other questions you had?
No, that's, then that gives us just a minute so we can do the issue.
The longevity looks right.
Yeah, when we have to put a longevity, let's take the 40 administrator, Stephanie. She's due for a longevity of $5,000. You've got, pardon me?
Tier.
A tier of $5,000. You've got enough room in her salary there. You've got a $9,000, $8,000 spread there. What we have to make sure is there's enough room for us to put a 4% raise and that 5,000.
What spread are you talking about, Randall?
You've got her listed as a 46,391 2024 salary in the budget. And looking for a 54,475 for 25.
Real close.
Is that what, do you see what I'm talking?
All right, so what I'd ask for the 54,475.
Yeah, we can't go above that. And we've got to get a 4% raise and her $5,000 inside those numbers.
6,000.
No, the 1,000 longevity is down in the $3,000 longevity line.
Okay.
And just looking at that, because that number, 54,000 caught me off guard, because that is not what I even asked for. That's way more than what I asked for.
Well, they're putting added tiers. The most of them.
Yeah, so if she added the tier in there, 5,000, she's covering our mistakes.
Yeah, because what I had asked for, looking, was 6% off of what she made last year, which was the 46,391.
Right.
So I think I was asking for around $49,000.
Yeah.
So there's like, I mean, with tier and and the 4% is 53,250.
So we will.
But I lay money, you were asking for $49,475. You had $5,000 on it, boom, 54,475, there's a number. But we've been running that through this whole process to make sure that we got room. And I will have to say this in a public meeting, the auditor did fabulous. You went in and backstopped all of this with the tiers. The issue is, we gotta have the tier right to make sure if she undercut the tier, we might find one that's short. But
The only reason I brought that up, just that range, that big range that you were talking about confused me because that was far greater than mine. That's why I put it down. So I was just trying to figure out where that number came from.
Auditor saved everybody's butt.
Basically, the longer you've been here, you know, we put this tier in to give people raises, but also try to retain it. So they don't go elsewhere looking for work. And you know, in 5 years, 10 years, 15, this is what you're gonna get.
Jared, one other thing is we've been asking do you have anybody that works from home? Those positions will not be funded.
Me and my deputies, every time we go home.
You will.
Because we have to get that out of the first of the year.
No, we don't. The other time we did that was when during COVID,
right.
we split up into 3 teams and had one team in here and the other.
Right.
Well, we had a few offices that had full-time employees working full-time at home.
Yeah,
That's,
we don't work together unless we.
you know, obviously, if you gotta take the laptop home to catch some of that, that's fine.
But it's not during business hours.
No,
Full-time.
No. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I forgot about that.
And longevity is right on. For that department. So there's plenty of money. Council,
Yes.
for the 4% and the stipend. So,
Yeah, I know.
the tiers.
Just a tad over.
I make a motion that we accept as is with 4% increase and implementation of the tiers, longevity being as presented.
Second. Motion made by Karen, second by Ron. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is that clear, Mark?
It is clear.
And right now,
I'm telling you, I was scrambling in the last hour. So I came in early and we've been working the numbers.
Was putting in COLA on the base and then adding the tier money.
Yep.
And then next year, that tier will be part of the base, so we'll get COLA on that amount.
So this isn't a one time.
Your court administrator got a $5,000 raise effective this year and going forward.
And then
In the
the
tier
tier for the next year.
In 2020, the raise will be 2,500. Because we're bringing her, the schedule is 15, then another 1,500, then a 2,000, then a 2,500. So don't be confused if it's your 20-year, you say, whoa, they gave me 5 for a 15-year. Yeah, that's because it's cumulative and we had to get you the 5 years or 15.
One question I have about that, looking forward, because I'm going to have, and you'll hear about this a little bit in a moment. In 2026, I'm going to have 3 long-time employees retire. Is somebody tracking, like, when I go replace those positions, how can I advertise for that salary?
Let's go back to the base. Your core tier.
Base is.
Yes.
Okay.
That's your wonderful auditor again.
And this is one of the deals also, so you don't have a first year employee making more than 20-year employee has.
And that was my concern, but I just want to make sure there is somebody here tracking it, because honestly, I haven't.
I think between HR and payroll and Heather,
And I think by individuals, they should know what their tier is too. In an earlier meeting, we need to, as a body, promulgate this shotgun to everybody in the county. This is what happened. This is why your pay went up. And this is your responsibility. Go look at it, make sure we got it right. This is how many years we say you have here. And if there's a discrepancy, you need to get it in and get it fixed.
It's just somebody is tracking.
Yeah. They,
Whatever year we start this on, okay, on, 2025, this position right here, we look it up, okay, they got this amount for the tier. So when you go and look back, you take the salary that's being paid, whatever year the person retires, and you just subtract off what those tier, what you left with should be what the salary could be for somebody starts.
Correct.
I just want to make sure somebody was.
We'll keep track of, he'll be keeping track of this. Yeah. I mean, we rush this through too, so there's gonna be a few things we have to iron out.
on the budget committee, the wages and salary committee only gave us a schedule up to 20. We're asking them to go on all the way on now.
We're talking up to
50. No, to
20 years.
50 years.
20 years. 20 years, we just took that as a normal, 20-year or something.
I seem to go out to 50 years. We've got some 30-year employees.
Big spender 62, I think. I think I was.
it's being correct issues.
We're not, these tiers play out right, they may not want to retire.
Yeah.
Jump is going to be the same jump every 5 years. So that 2,500 at 25 is going to be another 25. And then at 30 is going to be another 25. That's what we're the first deputy.
Vicky, you don't look a day older than Joni Miller. She said she's been here the longest.
Tony's been here the longest, Gene, and then me.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, even we pay those two on longevity, so they'll get longevity next year, but after that year, longevity's
Going away.
going away.
Everybody.
Material of that.
Which I kind of wondered about that too, because I almost exactly
Double.
twice.
Right.
But I also didn't know if there was like longevity would be considered, like for the years in between every 5, you might get a little bit, until you get the 5 get up again.
Well, because your tier, you get paid every year. It's not just a one-time payment.
Well, but anybody, they're gonna have to be here 5 years before they get.
Right.
There's no longevity or they'll just get the COLA.
It's sign of raise.
Do we agree with this?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Okay. It's early for us too.
Page 97.
97, Brian, driving song.
The 40 incentive.
And again, just a reminder, this is the money that we get from the feds for meeting our goals in child support, collecting child support, collecting arrears on child support, static attorney, all that stuff. And we do it all in the back.
This is Brent again.
Yes, yep, still ready. On the deputy prosecutor, the prosecutor county supplement, that is the $5,000 that I get every year. It gets split 2,000 from the incentive fund, and then the other 3,000 comes from the criminal fund on the prosecutor side. That's good.
Part-time, is that a new position?
That is new, and I want to discuss that for a minute. I mentioned to you earlier that I talked about some of the people that are leaving in 2026. Pam Barnville is one of them. She is a longtime receptionist for child support. When Stephanie and I were putting this budget together, we thought it would be nice to hire somebody and have them work with Pam for a couple of months. Trained so that when Pam leaves, we're not having to train somebody with nobody there to kind of look over the shoulder and help. So we added this line right here to bring somebody in to work the last part of. You see, she's leaving.
She's leaving in March of 2026.
Yeah, so we're gonna bring them in. And be able to have somebody part-time to kind of work with her, and she leaves, hopefully that person. And it's
Thinking, it's a good job.
again, it's incentive money, it's money we get from it. But that is new, that was on my list to bring up to you guys too.
So this is Brent.
Yep, that's part 2 of the 3 parts of Brent's salary under the IV or the 540 deputy prosecutor.
So we were just adding 4% to this because you already did the tiers in the
Yeah,
budget.
yeah. And there's no tier, and there's no longevity on this pay. Brent doesn't have it.
Yep.
No other employee.
Well, I would move that we approve this as is with the 4% raise.
If I can add one thing before that, Karen, whenever I was going through and looking at the budget, and this is minuscule, probably won't mean anything to you guys, but Karen and Brent were hired about the same time, and in my office, I consider them the same level, the both deputy prosecutors. Somehow, I asked for the same amount for them last year, but it ended up, and Brent got $1.06 less. That pointed out, so we didn't know if there was a way we could make that up so that in 2025, their salaries are exactly the same. Everybody got a quarter. In my opinion, it's the first couple of years. Anyway, just, it's not a bunch, but I didn't know.
How did that?
Don't know, and I think it might be because since Brent is getting paid through 3 accounts instead of Carrie just getting paid 1 account, that it off just a hair when you try to do the division, it totaled up to $1.06.
No, that's because we're on 26 pay cycle. And there's 27 pays sometimes, and you're right. Everybody is, if you add up all your pay, everybody's a little bit short.
There are times on the $5,000 supplement I get that I'm a few dollars short. That's
what I'm saying.
I can bring that up just so, hey, I made the pitch that they.
Yeah, it's because it's a 27, 26 pay, and they say that it catches up in the 27th pay, and this year happens to be a 27th year. You'll get a pay that was not budgeted. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. But so you're right. So if they're pulled from 3 different funds, he's being shorted 3 times. Very low increment.
He's not asking for this. Steph pointed out to me, and I said, hey, I'll mention it to him. But whenever because you all eventually just decide what the final number is for the salary, just if you could make sure those two match.
Yeah.
Just so where do we want to fix it? Well, where's his major salary?
Easy fix that it doesn't affect the general fund whatsoever would just be whenever you decide what their final number is, if it's off by just a hair, if you could just take some more out of the incentive fund there just to make sure.
But the problem with that right now is we would have to take that dollar off of one of your other elements because we can't change the total. So when
You put in 6% on this though, didn't you?
Yeah,
So there's a 2% difference.
Gotcha. So we're good.
what was the number? $1 what?
It was $1.06 for 2024. I don't know what it is this time. So.
Well, that's the problem. We're probably gonna have to pay it in arrears. Because and then it gets started next year. On the payroll system. That's.
Well, I think it was just on the actual.
Yeah, on what we budgeted on ours, but like what's on these papers that we just got, they're like what, $1,500 off.
Well, that, I'm gonna discuss that, because I think Carrie accidentally got included in the tier part, and she won't even be here a year until October. That's why he's on. Yeah, we'll deal with that part later.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a huge deal,
If it's, I don't have any problem putting $1.06 on that. 4% plus $1.06. At least it would cover it for last year. We can't cover it, we can't say what it's gonna be next year, because the way the accounting system does, it's like. And this is a year of 27 pays. What's gonna happen is, if Brent goes and adds up all his pays this year, he's gonna be like, I think I got an extra paycheck.
Is this for Brent?
yeah.
Well, he don't have anything on tier.
No, it's not here.
No, this
This is just how the payroll works out.
4% plus $1.06.
So it'd be 4% plus $1.06 on line 0011, correct?
You get your motion?
Yes.
Plus $1.06.
Jerry made a motion. Well, second.
Tell him we give him his dollars.
I'm gonna say.
All in favor?
Again, this is me just trying to be fair to my, he did not ask for that, so.
That's really fair.
Okay, where's to next?
Ginzu.
So we are done with child support.
Yes.
Well, I think probably the easiest one, if you want to take a look at your, victims assistance budget. For 98, for.
That page 98? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much tier does she get?
We'll get to that in a second, because once you all get to that budget, you can just tear that out of your manual.
Oh, that's right.
And that is the one that we just found out we're not getting anymore, because the county doesn't have EEOP.
So this whole budget goes away.
Gone.
Okay.
That's the federal budget, and there used to be a matching requirement too, both of those things now. Gone, we're not getting it.
Is that something that'll come back if we fix the EOP plan?
Yes and no. Could it come back? Yes, it could, but if you remember last time, and probably the time before that, I talked to you about the federal government cutting that VOCA program. So we were going to get it, but it probably wouldn't have been as much. The budget you had in front of you is going to be the start of a 2-year cycle. We were being told that was the last 2-year cycle that we could expect any significant amount of money, probably less than what we got before. But after that, it's going to be 75% of what, which would leave us with next to nothing. So I was trying, I think you all may have gotten that email that Kelly asked me about, and I sent to her and I explained the best that found myself in. We were hoping that to squeeze out a little bit of money these next 2 years out of that vote grant, or totally went away, but then it turns out we're not getting anything because they became a stickler on that point that we didn't have the EOP plan.
So we don't have anything in our budget for Vicky.
Well, we do, because I was trying to cover my bases, but it'll be under the general fund.
Okay, but you do have a line already submitted in there.
Yes, yeah, through the general fund.
Okay,
So what would the motion look like? Motion to zero out Fund 9106 entire budget for 2024?
yeah, that would be, I mean, I just would rather know, it says no funds are being received, so.
Or I can move to withdraw from my budget because it's not, we've been told that we're not getting that.
We can leave it. No, it's part of the budget record. We'll just zero it out.
Yeah.
In case it comes back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I move that we zero out Fund 9106. The 2024 proposed, or the 2025 proposed budget due to non-funding.
I second.
Made a motion, Karen second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So this number 23,759. I'm just gonna write that down so I'm gonna have to refer back to here. We're gonna see that other places. You're gonna try to cover that.
Yes, the amount that's lost, and then yes.
Okay. 23,759. Or something thereof.
That's proposed.
No, let's take it out, lay it aside. Okay,
So I think now, we go to the general fund, where prosecutor.
Okay, can we address something right up front before you get started?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Jared, there's some confusion here, and I've got to ask a few questions first to get to an understanding. Which salaries are paid? I know what salaries are set by the state according to the latest, and I have the copy right here, the latest. This one that comes out of the Supreme Court, and it says who gets what. And this is the state mandated salaries. So of this list, which ones are actually paid by the state and which ones come out of the county budget? Judge, paid by the state.
Paid by the state.
Magistrate,
Paid by the state.
paid by the state. We do not have a juvenile magistrate. Prosecutor full-time,
I'm paid by the state.
paid by the state. Prosecutor part-time, we don't have one.
There's only like 2 in the whole state now that are part-time prosecutors.
Prosecutor, okay. Chief deputy prosecutor full-time,
It's a state paid salary, and then historically, there's also been a supplement paid by the county. And that's what, that chief deputy line is. So he gets a salary from the state, and insurance from the state like that.
yeah, and that line item is what I'm gonna bring up in just a minute. And then chief deputy part-time, we got any of that?
No,
And how about a deputy prosecutor?
those that are paid by the state are very good number, and if I remember right, you have to have a prison in your county, and if you do, the state funds some deputy prosecutors for that, because they feel like there's a lot of crime that gets generated inside the prison, so they will pay for a deputy prosecutor in those counties, so we don't have a prison, so we don't have any state paid deputies.
Okay, so state paid for us, judges, magistrate, prosecutor, and chief deputy prosecutor.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Starting with all of that in mind, I was trying to ferret out why the judge, 2 judges, the magistrate, the prosecutor stipend is $5,000. The chief prosecutor is 10 and going up every year. It started 3,000, didn't start. I went back and looked at as many times as I could. 2012, it was 3,000. 2018, it was 7,750, and today we're going up to 11. Is that supposed to be a $5,000 stipend like yours?
No, but I can explain that, Randall. The stipend that the judges and I receive is based on state statute that allows the county to provide up to $5,000 as a stipend on top of the state salary. And historically, that's what the judges and I have received. And that goes back before I was prosecutor, before Judge Allen and Judge Martin were judges. So everybody before us got that $5,000 too. The chief deputy prosecutor, and again, that started before I took office, has always received amount of money from the county as well. It is not based on that same statute. In fact, chief deputies aren't under any restriction for amount of money they can be paid on top of their salary. And there are some counties that pay their chief deputies quite a bit more than what Tyler would be getting here. But it's not in any way, shape, or form tied to that $5,000 stipend, nor is there any type of restriction on how much they can get. And it's not mandatory that they get anything, just some counties do that, some counties don't. Thankfully, we've done that because having that extra money was helpful in me trying to recruit somebody to come to Greene County to fill that spot.
Okay. I hear that, and then I read the statute myself. And it sounds a little different. And this, I just pulled this down, the Indiana Code 2024, because it does list in one paragraph, deputy prosecuting attorneys. But in the next paragraph, it does not. And that's where I don't know if this has been updated or whatever. This all started in 1995. It says beginning in January 1995. And here, let me see what you got here. There's the code, because that predates me. I didn't start until 98. Yeah, and here's the whole 5 code, but let's look here for just a minute. Non-applicability of the chapter to certain salaries. Okay, I think that's announcing that this chapter 5, which is, let's see what it says here, budgets, that's what it says. The chapter does not affect the salaries of judges, officers of courts, prosecuting attorneys, deputy prosecuting attorneys, county sheriffs, whose minimum salaries are fixed by statute. That's what we say. That's what that's what the Supreme Court basically. The county fiscal body may make appropriations to pay them more than the minimum fixed by the statute, subject to subsection B. And that says, beginning here, an appropriation made under this section may not exceed 5,000 for a judge or full-time prosecuting in any calendar year. I don't know if this is saying, okay, the minimum cannot be changed. We can make appropriations to pay the minimum subject to B, which only addresses the judge and the full-time prosecuting attorney.
Right, which is me.
Yeah. The county may make appropriations to pay them more than the minimum subject to the section. I don't think that gives us the freedom to pay more than the minimum than what the state is saying. And I don't know if back in 1995, were we paying the chief deputy out of the state money or not?
The chief deputy back then, I believe, would have gotten a state salary. But again, that predates me by 3 years. All I can tell you is when I started, the chief deputy was Sherry Stone, and I'm confident she also received an amount of money above what the state paid her. But
Yeah.
I guess it's what it is. And I can tell you that we are not the only county that pays the chief deputies more than what this,
More than the 5,000.
yeah, or more than what the minimum salary is set by statute. Which is why he gets paid from the state.
Yeah.
The way it's been interpreted on the state level is that as a judge and a full-time elected prosecutor, you can pay us the $5,000 up to the $5,000, but no more than that. We cannot accept more than that. But if you choose to pay other deputy prosecutors full-time or not, you can pay them more than $5,000.
Well, I haven't had time to get the DLG up to weigh in on this and say that everybody that's paid by the state, if you're going to pay them, it's a maximum of 5,000. And here's where I'm getting at this. I did a lot of reading on this, a lot of commentary, a lot of people asking questions about it. My understanding is, as a state, they set your salary. We as a county can't do one of two things, either one of them. We can't say, Jared, you're doing this a great job. We're going to give you a bunch of money. Keep doing this a great job. Meaning, we need your favoritism. Or, Mr. Prosecutor, you're taking a pay cut. And that's the conflicts, because this body has control over salaries. The state took that away from us to add something additional of some manner. I mean, if that was the case, we could pay the chief prosecutor another $5,000 if we truly wanted to.
There are some counties that pay quite a bit more than $10,000 extra to the chief deputy.
Yeah. But
I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's.
But I'd like to get clarification. Chief deputy is the only one. I understand we can pay the deputies all the way, but the one that's paid by the state, does the state intend for that to be a non-conflict of interest position? And that's what it basically says, because there can be a conflict of interest. In order not to sway judges and prosecutors from doing things in favor of this body, we can't give you any more. And so there's where it stands. The state sets it, says you can give them an additional 5,000, but that's it. Can we work on that before we approve it and get a reading from the DLGF? Would you do that?
Well, I can do some research, and I'm sure IPAC has already fought this battle with other counties.
Yeah, that would be good.
So I can get you what you want. Sure.
Okay. If that's the case, then we probably should change it a little in the line item. Because it looks like, just first glance, when people are looking at the budget, they think that's a $5,000 stipend that's been advanced by a cost of living allowance over the years. Instead of it actually being a salary for the chief deputy prosecutor.
I'll be honest, I've been in this office as much as 7 years. I've never had anybody suggest that it's a $5,000 stipend and adding more to it. Everybody has just assumed it was an addition to the salary they already receiving.
Yeah, well,
I'll get your questions. I don't know about that.
it started 3,000. It started. I don't know when it started. I can't get back to the budget.
There was a time, I remember when it went to 3,000, because it had been zeroed out for a year or two. And then the council added it back, but before 3,000, it had made that same march up because I can't remember what it was at, because it was there when I got here, but historically, whatever raise county employees got tacked on to that amount in that line item. So I know it went up for a while. I can't remember why. I'd have to go back and think about this, but there was a time where it got zeroed out and then it started over again. I think you had that year. What year said it was?
It was 2012. It was $3,000.
Trying to think.
And in 2018, it was 7,750. I just picked a couple, and then now it's up to 11,000. Here's one of my concerns. This group on this paper, do you know what the raise was from the state this year?
Is it not listed in that letter?
3%. Yeah, I just didn't know if you knew that.
Well, I was going to guess 3, but I wasn't 100% sure. Sometimes it's 2.6, sometimes it's 3.4.
Right. So if we continued this, we could get a chief deputy prosecutor at some point. Now, we got a pretty good ground to make up because there's a 25% differential between your pay and his pay. But it could eventually get to the point to where
25 years.
chief deputy prosecutor is drawing more salary from this county than prosecutor. And that would be probably how did this happen kind of conversation.
Now, I would ask you, Randall, do you think at that point in time, if it's 25 years to get to that point, it won't be me, it'll be that's the council. You think that prosecutor is going to submit that budget at that point? We will stop somewhere before you get to that. But you're right, to your point. The county could continue to give higher raises than the state does, at which time then it's possible that that spot could drop. Well, I don't know that.
I don't know what this body wants to do. What I think would look and feel a little better is a fixed stipend that takes no COLA. Except that if you decide, hey, I want to raise that stipend, I have the wherewithal to do it, I want to raise that stipend, instead of it just looking like this thing just keeps going on and on and on. If it's valid and the IPAC have figured it all out, DLGF says no, that statute only addresses judges and prosecuting attorneys, not anybody else. We don't give the sheriff $5,000. We don't give any other court officers $5,000. But if they come back and say, no, it's perfectly legit, would it be something you would entertain, maybe set it to 10 and leave it?
I would set it to 10 because that's isn't that $1,000 pay cut?
Yeah.
That's $1,000 pay cut for a brand new prosecuting attorney that has not been a new pay year here yet, correct? You got a new deputy.
He's been there for a while. He's getting paid under this $10,953. Now, I might be convinced to cap it at 11,000 so he doesn't lose money, but I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't agree to go back to less than what he was making this year. That's what you're asking.
Well, yeah, he didn't make that this year because now I've been here for a year. That's what I'm
That's
getting
the
at.
pay rate though, Randall. I mean, you're splitting hairs.
Well, but Leonard Weber did get paid that, right? And he was the chief for part of the shit.
For a short period of time, and he stepped down.
Yeah. So the new guy didn't get all that anyway.
I understand what you're arguing. I disagree.
Okay. So you're saying,
I'm saying I'm open to the idea of capping that.
and setting it and then coming back periodically and raising it if we need to.
Right, and what I was getting ready to finish with, not only capping that, but with the expectation it wasn't going to get whatever raise the rest of the county employees get each year. Because I think that's your main concern is the fact that it grows every year.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm willing to first off, I'm willing to do the research to make sure that this is even possible, which I've been told to do, but I'll do the research for you.
Is he eligible for the tier? No.
No, because I didn't think any prosecutors would.
Then I suggest we would go with 4% raise this year.
That brings it up
And
to
address this into next year's budget.
well, then.
We'll get a straight answer in.
Yeah, you won't for weeks, but I like to think that our budgets have been approved by the LGF State Board of Accounts prior years. So whatever's going on here is legal.
Has anybody always seen ever before?
No.
Okay, but if they've always made this.
And that's fine.
I don't think we're getting it.
Now, today. Yeah, I understand that. The DLGF has already approved last year's whatever, right? Correct, Heather? So this is something the DLGF, State Board of Accounts, everybody has already looked at.
Right.
I
And
disagree that they look at it as stringently as we do.
Well, and if you bring that up and they do agree with you, then our next budget cycle, we'll have to bring it back down.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I'm being outvoted here, both of us.
It's something, I know what you're talking about being outvoted on. I just don't think we have the time. Right,
Because,
to get an
yeah.
answer, to get a true.
Because, yeah, State Board of Accounts, DLGF
As long as you can be watching by noon. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. I think we're-
So let's go ahead and do the tiers then, or do we need to do any tiers here?
We only talk about tiers, but I think there was one that shouldn't get a tier that was.
Okay.
But I want to just to clarify for Randall, I will research this and provide you with the information. I've been told verbally over the years from my impact that this is lawful. I did that research. I am open to moving forward, setting that like at this stipend amount, like my 5,000, like the judges get 5,000. I'm willing to pick a number and set that with the understanding that it doesn't get whatever raises. I think that's fair. Well, the only thing I disagree with you on, Randall, is I don't think it's fair to move it back to 10,000 when in 2024 it was just shy of 11,000. That's the only thing I would push back a little bit on. And if we decide that it's 11,000 or if it's 12,000 moving forward, that's fine. But I just didn't want to go backwards a little bit. But everything else I agree with.
Yeah.
You know, I have no problem.
So if we move it to 11 today,
Go with that.
if we move it to 11 today, then that means that the chief prosecutor is getting his full pay raise from the Supreme Court list. We're not taking anything back. All we did was, we didn't give him a 4% raise on the 10,963.
He got $47 raise.
Yeah, and it locks in until
This dollar.
in the future. I would hate to, here's what I'm saying to you guys. I think to lock it in at 11 and then Jared comes back and says, here, I got all the evidence and we can do what we want.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's what it's going to say. I'm just trying to be fair with.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we can get an answer to make a decision.
Yeah, I think we can change it to 11 for this budget, and if he comes back and says, hey, it can be 15, then we have to look at an additional appropriation.
What, would you be happy with moving it to 11? And then getting an answer afterwards and next year fixing it again if we need to, just go ahead and bring it back up.
Honestly, if that's what you tell me, that's what you vote on, I'll live with it. What I think is easier for me, is treat him like treat that position as it's always been treated. Let me do the research. If it turns out that it is legal to do that, give him the 4% this year. And now I want to notice next year when I come before you, then that we need to pick a number where it's going to be capped, whether it's that amount or something close to that.
4% would put him at 11,391 instead of 11,610, which is proposed.
And then maybe that ends up being $300 if you vote on that. Instead of me having to come back before you and ask for an additional appropriation. I just assume, like, settle this now, whatever amount you all decide on, just settle it now, because with the understanding that next year in my budget, I need to be prepared to just lock whatever figure in you guys decide is that's what that position is. Does that make sense?
You have no fear that this thing could go back to 5,000?
No, honestly, I don't.
Okay.
Because I've been on the IPAC board for, I think, 12 years now. This periodically, issues with pay on prosecutors come up periodically. And I know I've been told repeatedly that despite the $5,000 cap for judges, elected prosecutors, chief deputies, if the council, their county council decides to, can pay more than that. And I know for a fact that there are some chief deputies in larger counties that make pretty close to what the head prosecutor does. And the reason for that is that in those counties, the head prosecutor, the elected prosecutor system, I hate to use the figurehead, but they are an administrator. They don't actually go in the courtroom. It's the chief deputy that goes in and tries all those serious murder cases and those death penalty cases and stuff like that. And they have to pay quite a bit to retain quality attorneys to be able to do. So I know it's being done now. The counter to that is when they're just things all the time that people do, it's technically not legal. That's why I'm going to go back and find the actual research for you and stuff that at least I've been told allows for.
And that's my view. I just don't think we have enough information yet to write it in today.
So we'll follow up. You and I, Jared,
Absolutely.
and what do you want us to put in there today? The 4%, right?
Percent, which makes it just what, a hair over 11,000.
11,391 would be the number.
Okay.
Now we need names on his other positions.
So the chief deputy, that's the highway home, so we just covered that. The deputy prosecutor that was paid, it's just deputy prosecutor, no numbers after that, Ed Menzo. He is paid,
Is that the 015?
yes, he is paid out of the general fund, but also he is paid some money out of the pretrial diversion and some money out of the infraction deferral for his total salary, so. Like Brent, he gets paid out of 3 funds. There was some, I want to bring this up here. Oh, actually, before that, let's go down. Deputy prosecutor number 2 is, that is Carrie Spear. So when we talked about tiers, and I was given a sheet by Steph this morning, on the tier sheets, what I'll call it, it had Ed Weber, whose start date is October 5th of 2020. It had $1,500 tier and a question mark. When I looked at my sheet here that listed the chief deputy, deputy prosecutor number 2. I noticed on Carrie's deputy prosecutor number 2, the amount listed was in excess of what I asked for. It was even more than the 6% I asked for. But Heather and I briefly, we were trying to talk here before we started. I think she indicated that possibly she put $1,500 tier on deputy prosecutor 2, which Carrie, because like I said, she hasn't even been here a year yet, so she shouldn't even been in the consideration. I think Heather may have met Ed, who was just a regular deputy prosecutor line, but his 5 years won't be until October of next year. And then I had the other question to you all is, do we as prosecutors, I don't, but do my prosecutors even qualify for a tier? I mean, is that something that you want to have an extra amount of money go to them if they stay or not? And I also don't know the answer to that.
Everybody is in the tier system. Now, we even said even the elected officials.
But I can't be and the judges can't be. We just had that discussion.
Right.
Right. 5,000, we can't do more than that.
Prohibited by state, everybody is in the tier system.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, when does that trigger? For instance, I know 5 years is the first threshold, but Ed doesn't get that 5 years until next October 2025. Would he get that tier in his 2025 salary, or would that wait until 2026?
It'll trigger at the beginning of the.
Paying January 26th.
So then, as we talk about tiers, then I don't have anybody any prosecutor that would be that would trigger a tier. And on the deputy prosecutor number 2, the proposed salary now $84,765. I think that included a $1,500 tier that shouldn't be in there.
Okay, so
He's talking, that's under 4D.
So now we're in the general fund.
So neither one of us. Here,
Yeah, 009.
Farms. No.
Level's not either.
No, he won't qualify until
October next year.
Because he has longevity.
Page 11. Randall.
I see page 11, but I'm looking on the longevity page here. There's no Carrie Spear on it.
Right, that I could sure think, but I think the $1,500 came in for Ed got put under the deputy prosecutor 2 line, which is carried.
Okay.
If you look at the actual. But the worksheet that I was just doing.
Okay. So we've got discrepancies to begin with because deputy prosecutor makes, oh, you're saying, I just heard that. Out of the corner of my ear. The reason it's 64 and 78 is 64 is bringing in money from another fund.
The 64,233 is the general fund amount that Ed makes, but then he also gets money out of infraction for all pretrial diversion to raise his salary up.
Yeah.
Historically help the county out paying for that position.
Carrie's is only here and it's 78.
Yes, she made 78 at 552 last year, and I put 6% in, but you guys know that now. But that 84,765 is is like more than the 6%. I think it's 6% plus 1,500, which that's when I started talking to Heather, and that's when we thought maybe that tier that was supposed to go to Ed.
That's
her account did, but it shouldn't go to either one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, so no tier on either of those.
$1,500.
It's a 4% on that number right there.
Yeah,
So
on the set
longevity should be 3,800 and not 3,400.
What line is that?
Well, it's in the budget sheet, it only has 3,000.
And you say it's 3,400?
I think it should be 3,800. Because Ed did not have it and he should have.
Oh, it did not.
Yeah, in all honesty and being fair to the council, I don't think the council historically has given longevity to us prosecutors.
To the elected officials.
I don't think they've ever given, at least in our office, I don't think our deputies ever got, even when I was a deputy prosecutor, I never got longevity.
I don't think you do.
No,
Yeah.
never do.
Now, I would love for them to be considered on this tier consideration, since you're doing away with longevity, maybe that's a way to handle it. But I don't want you guys giving longevity to somebody that hasn't historically. Yeah, that's not fair.
Okay.
We'll leave it at 3,000.
Yeah.
30. Okay,
Let me ask you on that. The
group, can we look at this just a minute? You said 3,000.
That's
It's
what he-
3,400 on the page without Ed.
Yeah, I had 3,400 on my page. I know Brian gave it 3,000.
Well, the budget sheet shows 3,000.
Oh, that's another point that, yes, that Amanda thought. So we had asked for longevity in the amount of $3,000. The longevity sheet we just got showed 3,400, but there is $400 for Nora Moore. She is my full-time receptionist, but she just started in that position this year. Her start date is
20.
she was my part-time, she worked for me for a few years
Okay.
part-time.
Okay, so the actual full-time starting was this
It
year.
was this year, so I paid her $400.
So
So
the,
I think 3,000 is right, the
okay,
longevity sheet showing 3,400 should be 3,000.
okay,
We've had that happen when people go part-time and full-time.
thank you.
Will there be a point where I can stop giving you guys money back?
No. Never.
Been here a lot of years, you know, I'm enjoying that, so.
So we gotta go through all the rest of these. About
Yeah.
two, right?
Legal tech, circuit,
That's Amanda. She is also my office administrator.
legal tech, under 18.
No, under 17.
Right, that's Amanda. Legal tech.
18 is Ashley Roberts. Hold on. Well, no. Let's back up a second. I skipped a line.
I'm writing this in ink, Jared.
18. Yeah. Legal Tech Superior, which was 20, that is Amanda.
Okay.
Legal Tech 18 is Vicky's position that
I'll let you move to.
that I'm trying to get just the full-time paralegal new. So assuming that gets adopted, then that Legal Tech 18 could be totally wiped out. I think I said that out in the email. At least I tried to explain that in the email that Vicky wouldn't be getting two salaries. That would just go away.
That's the other part of Vicky's in addition to the victim's grade.
Yes, it was that Legal Tech. Last year she got 35, 222 out of that, and then
Okay,
more out of it.
so the 17 is Vicky.
Legal
Legal tech circuit,
Number 17, that's Amanda.
That's superior.
17 or 20 is Amanda.
17 is Amanda. On my sheet, it says Legal Tech Circuit.
yeah,
So 17,
that's
that's
right,
Amanda.
that's Amanda.
And that's in the bottom.
No. No, if
Okay.
you go down to 18, my sheet just says Legal Tech, and
Right.
that is the one that has been Vicky, but I'm asking for that to be wiped out so long as we get the paralegal job.
Okay,
You say 17 is.
Amanda.
18 is Vicky.
So it's two Amandas?
Okay, so legal tech superior.
20, Legal Tech Superior is Ashley Roberts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, So then Vicky is 26 paralegal.
Research.
Go ahead. Ron, what did you say?
26 is the paralegal.
Yes, 26 is that new position that would be Vicky. That's what she does in Discovery. She's the paralegal.
Okay.
And if we already got a PD for that, and that's been approved and everything, or
You got
Position description.
Well, yes and no. We have a description, I think, through her current job, which just tells that, plus the victim's advocate. So I guess I can get with Marvin to have that carved out where it's just for the paralegal jobs.
yeah, I would recommend that. And then we would strike line 18,
18 can go away then.
is that correct?
I'm sure it's something. It's fine.
We need to remember what that number is though, because it's already in the budget.
Yeah.
41,787.
Yeah, we could just zero it out, right?
He's gonna ask for it down here in another place. Yeah. And Nora is a receptionist.
Yes,
Who is?
Nora Moore, that'd be number 29 receptionist.
Did you guys figure there's some tiers in there? Investigator Julie.
Yep.
Krieger,
Yes.
she's $7,500 tier.
She's been there a long time, yes.
She would be classified department head or first deputy. And she gets the top 7,500.
Okay.
Says Julie Martin.
Yeah, it's Julie Krieger. Martin's a prior last name.
Maybe.
How about Nora? No, she's not been here long enough to get.
She just, that's what we talked about earlier. She was part-time for a number of years, but she just started full time.
Longevity though, right?
No,
No, we don't hear all that now.
Okay.
did you guys look at Ashley? Ashley is on for no tier, but
No tier, what does she get? 400.
Amanda is on for. Amanda is on for 900,
And a 600.
And a 600 longevity.
so that is legal tech circuit, $900. 4% plus 900.
Under your 30, deputy 3 child support.
That is the third and final account that Brent Seymour gets paid out of.
Okay.
Because he does, like I said, he also does criminal workforce too. He does work on both sides.
And I,
And he's not for tier because he's relatively new too.
Right.
yeah,
Is that all the peoples?
no,
Out of the general fund.
Research clerk, who's that?
paralegal, Vicky.
Yeah, that's Vicky's, hopefully be the new title for her job.
Did you already tell us who the research clerk was?
That was, he just completed that. So his name is Adam. He'll be a third-year law student at IU, but he is not going to be able to work with us anymore. So we have posted that position at the IU Law School in Wilmington. So right now, it is open, and hopefully I can find another law student that can work for us.
And is that on like part-time?
And that's part-time. Well, if we're lucky, and we were lucky with Adam, his schedule is such that he can come down a little bit during the week and help us, and then he works full time during the summer. Right now, I won't know who the next student I hire will.
Whatever that's it, their class schedules are.
Hopefully, they can give us a little bit of time during the week, but my main focus is making sure having somebody full time in the summer.
Why did your part-time go up so much?
Okay, that is the second part of losing the Boca grant. As I mentioned in the email, we are under an obligation from the state to provide victim services. And historically, Vicki has done both of those jobs. She's done the paralegal job and the victims advocate job. We lost the Boca grant, as we've discussed, but I still had to have somebody do that work. It's January 1 of this year, the Supreme Court passed the new criminal rules of procedure. As a part of that, they now are mandating that our office, every prosecutor's office, provide discovery in every single criminal case. Before, you had to do it mandatory for felony cases, and that's it. If a defense attorney asked you for discovery on a misdemeanor case, you had to turn it over, but you didn't have to. You didn't have to unless it was asked, and it didn't get asked a lot of times. Now, starting January 1, we have to turn it over in every single case, felonies and misdemeanors, even if nobody asks for it. Well, as you can imagine, that is almost double Vicky's workload. It's to the point now where that is all she's going to be able to do. So in order to try to satisfy my obligations to provide victim services without asking for another full-time position, what I did was I asked for the roughly, I think it was 15,000 in part-time, I think, 15,500, something like that.
15,500, yeah.
Go back and look, to try to hire a part-time person to come in 3 days a week to do the victim's advocate position.
Okay.
So that's why that came out.
So there's nobody in that spot right now.
No.
Well, I mean, Vicky's.
Well, Vicky will still,
Yeah.
you all agreed to finish out her victim's portion of her salary in 2024, so I could pay her the last 3 months of the year. But come January 1, all she's
It's all
gonna
on
do
us.
is, I had find somebody part-time to come in.
Okay, so are we ready to talk about the math on paralegal? You recommended a $56,000 in your email.
Yep, and that was based on this math. Vicky had been making, and I can go back and find it, but what I did was I took her total, what she was making.
Yeah, it's right there on the paper, 35,222, and then 17,618.
Right. Did that, and I added 6% raise, and that's, I think, came up to either 56,000 or really, really close to it. So 56,000 is what I asked for. And again, whenever I went to look at the range of what paralegals were being paid in prosecutors' offices throughout the state, and I think I submitted that in my email to Kelly as well. The range was high 49,000 to low 60,000, which says $56,000 comes in within that range. And I would suggest that she's worth every dime and more. She's done this job forever. I said 62 years and probably slight exaggeration, but she's done
Maybe a week or two.
a long time. So that's how I came up with $56,000.
How about we do this instead? How about $59,153? Because if you take her salary last year she made $52,840. You plus it up by 4%. That becomes $54,953. Still under the limit there, but you add the 4,200 tier we're about to add on to her for her tenure. That brings that number to 59,153.
What about the longevity, Jed?
Now that's down here in the longevity, which would be a total of 60,000.
Be another $1,000 for that.
Her salary would be 59,153 for next year and the next. Well, what year are you at, Vicki?
I'm starting 42nd on January 3rd.
Yeah, okay, so
We can't give her 59.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
We're removing our other.
Because we're cutting 41.
Okay.
yeah, we're totally
I got you.
leaving out.
On the total line. Okay.
But her base pay is gonna be, this tier still has to be separate. So the 54 or whatever. 54,953, is that right?
let me see. 54,953 is the base.
Is the base.
So.
That's essentially, if I had asked for a 4% raise, that's what.
Right,
what that
that's what it would be.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
And then the tier brings her up to 59,153,
Right,
and we're striking line 18.
18.
Back up just a minute, Jerry. You said you asked for 4%. That has 4% on it.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. The number that you had given before the tier is what I would have suggested if I'd asked for a 4% raise instead of 6%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's.
We're moving it to 59,153. And Vicki, next year, if we get this wages and salaries thing, there'll be another tier raise next year.
A big one.
Not
bigger.
Oh, I mean,
No.
Every year.
You don't want to stay. You ever seen attorney yet?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I told Joni then, we'll buy you a cake. Out of it.
Yeah, I mentioned I had 3 big ones coming up. That's the second one. So.
We ready to.
I think we're ready.
Ready for a motion.
I will try to make one.
Okay.
So I recommend we approve this budget with the following changes. Raises at 4%. Setting line 18 to 0. Increasing line 26 to 59,153.
No, it should be 54,953, because that's not including tier,
I know, but we always had, okay, I got it, okay, 54, what?
953,
54, 953. And then adding the applicable tiers.
correct.
Right.
And that covers all the changes we made, right?
Well,
I believe so.
now, yeah.
Okay.
Motion been made, do I have a second? I'll second that. Ron second, all in favor?
Aye.
And you're still gonna let me know, right, Jared?
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna go back and look and dig around too, and I sent an email to the county attorney as well to look at it, so we'll all have an answer here.
you want to work on that? I think Brent asked if I could get it by noon. I'll do my best.
But you don't all need to get it.
It doesn't happen that quickly.
No,
It's early on.
someday in the next 30.
It'll be well before that. And there's a chance it'll be today.
Then you can pass that.
Like I said, I think this issue has come up before and IPAC has addressed it, not in our county, but other counties. So they should have the research somewhere. All right, Jared, I'll dig into that. I'll email it to you.
That's it.
That's my anticipation.
Yeah.
And then you can come before the wage committee and we'll sort that all out in there too. When the time comes, you can get all.
If it's wages, then it just hangs out there.
What else you got, Jerry?
In that motion pattern, is that for the whole general fund budget, or is that just salaries or whatever it'll be?
That's general fund, fund 11,
I just wanted
or
to
09.
make it clear, and I think I put it in the email too, that case management prep went up $8,000. That was the cost of the Axon e-discovery system that.
Yeah.
That here.
Okay.
Thank you.
You guys did annotate that you struck line 18 from the budget.
Correct.
I made that part of the motion.
Or zero it out.
Okay, the next one I had is.
But before we go on, I guess you're gonna get a new PD that covers the paralegal, bug, right?
Yes, yep. I'll give you Marvin on that, and make sure it's. Stuff.
You're going to move next one, let's take a 5-minute recess for the rest of the day.
Right, for that.
Marvin sent a text to me when you all to read your email when you take your next break. Regarding the
Well, let's take 10 minutes.
Regarding what?
a vote that happened yesterday.
Yeah, I can't get through my email.
I'll read it. So you sent the same email to everybody?
Sure.
10-minute recess.
Not talk too much.
You need to turn the mic off on the. People who read that or is.
Well, it's trying. What are you gonna do with all that money, Vicky?
7 grade kids.
It's,
We like to do things for them.
I'm sorry, on behalf of the county, that it didn't happen sooner for somebody that's been here.
Oh, and all that hot wash. They're not happy with that.
Pretty much when you call George Sheriff back in. The jail commander vote did not pass. The what? The jail commander vote did not pass. Was not legal. Yeah, you got your email on it? Yeah. Oh, he's talking around. Here, you can read that or not. Little. Yeah, you just scroll up.
Yeah.
How do you get the chair? 2 months.
That's weird because you're. Salary, 4%. And then your cheers for them. And then you're gonna break next year. So, they're all here.
Were there only 6 of us here?
That's not.
Yeah, sheriff was first thing in the morning.
Give your reason to say I'm sorry.
I am not staying. Always going in December. I'm going in 18 months.
I'm not quibbling over a certain $5,000. Just whether or not we're doing it right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Stay ready. I'm sure your voice went through because there's 3 microphones.
Yeah, I know. No, it's a legitimate question.
I think it's got asked to me at least twice. It's like, I don't even like something like that. Because of the correlation between being paid by the state on a fixed number from the Supreme Court, and then this thing stepping up every year. The idea, the suspicion was is that that's a $5,000 stipend that's got out of control. But if not, then okay, then not, and then just gonna carry on, and that's the way we're gonna go.
Yeah. No, I know for certain it was never a $5,000 stipend just like ours, but I want to be able to answer your question, for you to be confident to say that yes, the county has the ability to decide. Well, I think any amount extra.
I think we got all of that in wherever we want.
Yeah.
So there. No, I have to, and I hope, I brought hope that this is all on the right track, and we don't have to go back and take that down to some other number, and it'd be like,
Right.
that is a pay cut. How are we gonna make that up?
We just add a line.
And catch it up, or something, because you're not gonna, just like you said, that's the salary. That we cut you back $6,000 this year.
Yeah.
You know. Because effectively, I looked at the number, if that had to go back to 5 there, that would wipe out the 3% raise that was given by the state on that chief deputy. I don't even know the chief deputy is not. It would wipe it out. The county wiped it out. We can't do that.
Like you say, you can't keep that. And keep good health.
But like I said, there are some of the bigger counties where chief deputies are making really close to what they make the prosecutor makes. Yep. Not a phone concept. It's come up before in our board discussions. But me saying it and versus me being able to show you, hey, this is all right. I'll get the necessary documents to my back. That way everybody can just rest easy that we're not doing something.
And that'll settle up for the next 30 years, because you're here, so. Yeah.
Say years or months.
September, do you want me to call back or just let me go to verify it for
September.
Yeah, you want me to have them come back today if you can, and then September, because mine is need to do it.
You guys want to go September or do it today?
What's that?
I think it comes out.
He wrote for the, what Marvin said, yeah.
You do it today.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that was the.
George surely not that busy. I know where you're at.
The decision, we're doing it today or not?
Either it's south side going nine.
I'll if you come back. Is that the one that was contentious, I guess?
No, well, yeah,
Yeah, I think,
it was because of the way we voted.
okay.
Yeah, we didn't have enough live here.
We didn't have enough live people. That was when Jared was not here yet. And it went for two.
Jerry's fault.
It went for two, but if we put up with one or two, it'd probably be on the TV.
Yeah, because she wasn't turned out. She was here, but not up to.
Yeah.
All right, meeting back in session.
Yeah, where we at?
The next one I had was the pre-trial diversion budget.
What number is that?
86.
86, thank you.
2501.
Again, this is part of Brent's.
Ed. So Ed, you remember Ed had roughly 64,000 last year from the general fund, then you got additional money from pre-trial diversion and fraction referral. So this would be Ed, if you want to put a name to, for the deputy prosecutor line.
Okay. And this is again, you put 6% in this.
6%, yeah.
Well, really, I think the only thing we have to do here is to say, reduce it to 4%, correct?
Right, I think so.
I'll make that motion. We accept as is, with 4%. Because we already put the tiers for those people in the other budget.
Yeah, and he didn't qualify for tier anyways.
Okay.
Not till next year, all right?
I'll second.
Motion made by Karen, second by Brian, all in favor?
All right.
The next one I had was on fraction.
Out, so.
Yeah, so
That's fine.
So
We have a quorum.
Right, infraction referral was the next one I had.
okay, that's 2504.
And you said this one was Brent.
No, it's still Ed too.
Oh, this is Ed too.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I know we did the research, work, and did we do the secretary on the other?
This secretary is not now assigned to any one person. This, you have to go back several years to when we used to run a check deception program in our office. Remember that, Brian?
Yeah.
People had bad checks. We had a person that paid for it. This helped pay for that position. Well, then people, I'm not the only person still writes checks. Anyway, we don't get that anymore. We don't do that. So that is kind of stayed in there as a buffer in case we run short on some other account. We can move that and help pay for something, but there is nobody associated with that secretary.
Yeah, I think we're the girl.
Yeah, she did it for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, we got cut anyway, so I mean, look.
See, I got quite a bit out of this.
Here's why. So the infraction control program, we always make this joke when Ron says he's contributed before. It's for traffic, it's speeding tickets. If you qualify, you can pay not in, you're not in no tickets and in case it's yeah, you just defer. The last couple of years, we have seen a significant decrease in the number of participants in that program, despite now having I-69. Bottom line is I could go into the reasons, but the bottom line is tickets are being written, period. Despite us having an interstate. So that money is only there if people go into the program and pay.
It's not a general fund.
No, not a general fund, and it has, despite us now, I think, having the ability to have more tickets, versus anybody travels 69. You know, which is not wrong either. We just don't, there's not enough money going into it. So I had to make cuts on this because I could not submit a budget to you that told you more than what I currently had in the account, and I'm now down to $120,000 in fact. So that's why I had to make some cuts in it, but it is all just money that comes in from tickets.
You're saying Ron's been a better driver than.
Ron's been a better driver, he's not contributing, so I got some other work with. I do, okay, but you have to turn at least whatever you want, right?
I'm sorry, I'll try to do better for you.
Okay, I would try to,
Maybe.
On the federal interstate, if you're pulled over within the boundaries of Greene County, that referral program goes to Greene County.
yeah, where you get your ticket within that county is who's in charge, that prosecutor's office is in charge of handling that ticket, so.
Okay.
There was there is a state trooper that's been around for a number of years, that very good at any job, that has gone through some health issues and has not been able to work much in the last 2 years.
This is what happens, yeah.
I know who that is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna say that, but most of you know who that is, and he's getting better. He's getting better, but he hasn't been able to work, and Rusty, it's been.
Right.
Yeah, he's a good one.
And I hope he is able to get back to it at some point.
So he said he was gonna stay around a little longer because we're the state and,
Yeah, I think it would be his retirement if he did, but I know his health situation. He's got to.
when I talked to him.
Are we ready?
You're ready.
Ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion, move this to the 4%. All other as is.
I made a motion, you have a second.
Second.
Karen second. All in favor?
All right.
Motion unanimous.
Okay. So, last one that I have is the drug task force account.
373, that's a general fund account.
What number is that?
373.
General fund 373.
Oh, we want
It's 39, right?
It's 40.
40.
Yes, 40.
So this one is the one the council was gracious enough to create. Time flies. Ron, you might remember, Brett, you might remember, is it about 8 years now or so? Roughly, give or take. Very important. We all know drugs drugs are one of the worst things we battle in our community. So I'm not asking for any more money, but the one change I am asking for on this is the rate of pay for my part-time investigator that works these cases. Up until this year, we had been paying him at the amount of $25 an hour, which is like slightly more of what you can make going out and pass through stuff like that. I was asking if I could pay him at $35 an hour now. I'm not asking for any more money, just asking for his rate to go up from 25 to 35. Those of you that know him, he's worth 3 times that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was time to probably ask to get paid just a little bit more per hour for the next year.
So that'll have to get changed in the salary ordinance, but it doesn't do anything here to the budget.
Not to the budget, I listed, so I think somewhere they asked for us to list like pay rates, so I put it down on his, I changed it from 25 to, under the investigators, just says $35 an hour. But nothing in terms of the total amount of money that you guys can provide.
It cuts back on the hours though.
It would. Now we have to help offset that, and I don't know if you were on the board when we did this. The county gives me the $23,000. I have an amount also set out in infraction deferral that if he goes above that, I can pay him out of infraction deferral. But the understanding is he still has to stay under a total number of hours per year so that he's part-time and not doing any benefits. So what this may mean is if he exhausts all of those hours, all that money, it's fewer hours. He's definitely not going to be in the full-time status now because there theoretically be fewer hours to work since this rate's going up a little. And that fluctuates year to year because it just depends on how many cases we get.
Yeah, it all depends on the case, on how much time he has to spend.
And there's no percentage raise in for him.
No, it's part-time. No, I was asking to pay him $35 an hour for the time he does work instead of 25.
How long has it been 15,000? Long time?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to take that back. I think at one point, 3 or 4 years ago, I asked for an increase and you guys gave me a little bit more money. I can't remember what, maybe 13. I want to say it went from 18,000 to 20. I think I got a $5,000 increase maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But there has been $1 since we did this, like 8 years ago or something. Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve this as is.
And then motion, Randall seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Next year.
Thank you, and I apologize again, it wasn't. short and sweet. But I think it would have been, but we always still trying to figure out this tier.
It's all Randall's fault.
Who it applied to. Yeah. Get that straightened out, that's not a problem. I do want, and I'm in no hurry. Make sure I covered all the points I wanted to. But I think that I have. Yeah, I will get back to you on the issue on the chief deputy stuff. And I will get the paralegal description separated from the current description, so it's just the job description for that new position. I'll get that done.
Yeah, no, we just need to make sure that salary ordinance gets changed to the hourly rate too.
Okay, is there anything I have to do on that end, or is that? Okay. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good thing. They're quicker than anyone.
Famous last words though, right?
Yeah.
How many accounts did you have? Pardon? Did you, how many accounts are we got about, you know? Do you have
I mean, it's,
33.
Just public defender.
yeah, it's the public defender department 271.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
So you know what percentage of raise you put in for?
6%.
6%. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna work from home, people.
No work from home.
Well, not any, no full time.
Correct, right? Obviously, attorneys should work from home a lot.
Right, yeah, that's.
So I mean, no.
Okay, we're gonna put names to the lines here.
Okay. Just for me, because I'm a little confused still on the whole tier thing.
So you're full-time public defender. That is you?
That is me at the top, yes.
0011 public defender.
Correct.
Line is who?
Wait, I'm sorry, the one that is Ellen Martin.
And 0012.
Chloe Carnes,
What's that?
Chloe Carnes.
And 0013.
There is no public defender in that position, if you recall.
That's zeroed out.
Here,
I see that.
between a full-time public defender or a full-time contract or contract renewed, so we just need to manage that.
For.
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
So there's nobody there.
You there, secretary,
Secretary, nobody there.
nobody there.
Intern is part-time. Office administrator.
Tana McDonald,
Hannah?
Tana with a T. TANA.
0019 paralegal.
Truman Dow.
Dow.
Yep.
And then your 14 public defender, is that a contract position?
Contract position. You need his name for it.
Yes.
Tim Shunk.
And 16 is also a contract, that's a new one?
That's one we've had for several years. Jamie Sutton.
But that's moved from someplace else then.
Yeah, last year.
That's 13.
He decided to renew his contract as a, he's a full-time equivalent, so.
That was your 13 that moved to part contract, okay.
Roll off the contract off of.
Yes.
So they're not entitled to tier longevity, anything like that. It's that might be.
Contract.
Okay. 18 is investigator.
Yes, we have an investigator we utilize, but in theory, we might use several investigators in that position. It would be a contract and 99 employees.
What about the public defender felony access?
That is carryover for court appointed attorneys outside of my employees or my contracts. So sometimes we have too many conflicts and we have to hire someone out of Lawrence County, Monroe County. So that is, again, there's no name that would be tied to that.
I think that's it.
There's a pellet attorney fees at the bottom, but it's similar to that felony access, but it's just based on the pellet attorney that gets appointed.
The longevity, Heather, can you look at that for a second?
I could say that it's wrong.
Yeah, your budget says 1,600, the county thinks it's a $2,000 number.
Yes, that is correct. It should be 2,000.
But we've got somebody there and.
Actually, no, it's not. Even though the count is wrong, Chloe Carnes should be 400. Truman Dow should only be 200 because he was part-time from that August date until January 2024. So
Okay.
he didn't become a full-time employee until 1/1/24. So his longevity should just be 200
Well, if he just became a full-time this year, he won't get longevity.
in 2025. He'll-
Yeah, 1 year.
Oh, anyway,
Yeah.
right, okay.
You say everybody else is right?
Yes, Ian is correct and Ellen's correct.
Okay.
What's the ending total then?
They should be
1,800. 1,800?
correct.
On which one?
On line,
Line for longevity.
Oh, okay.
And you said you had a 6% on here or 7 or raise?
Correct.
6 or 7?
6%.
Okay.
You said it was
Just asking to make sure we got room to cover additions.
You're fine. And then is this a good spot to talk about the tiers?
Sure.
Um,
So who? You're listed as the department head. Do you have one that's listed as a first deputy or a chief deputy for you?
so Ellen Martin would be essentially a first deputy. She doesn't have the title of chief deputy, although I intend to request that actually next budget cycle to change her title because ultimately she is a high felony public defender. She's someone I can rely on, but if I go down, she can step in and pick up the pieces. And so next cycle, I intend to request that she be treated similar to the chief deputy prosecutor. Ellen has more experience than Mr. Holmes, years as far as an attorney goes and as a defense attorney. And so this cycle, I'm not asking for that, but she is my next in line, even though she doesn't have that
Okay,
as assistant chief deputy title.
so Ellen's and Tana's tier, I think they're correct.
They are correct right now.
Yeah. And when is your hire group?
My 100 day is 2020, but I don't, so here's the thing, I don't believe that I get the tier, even though I'm county paid. If I get the tier, then I will essentially be receiving more than our elected prosecutor and our judges. And my pay is supposed to be in line with judges and the elected prosecutor that's paid by the state. So unless
They're just like
or Judge Allen are getting this additional 1,500, I charge not.
We could get them more
Is
on that statute.
that's mandated by the state, is there?
What is the deputy prosecutors get tiered?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Prosecutor, judges. Yeah.
Judges and prosecutors did not because by law, we are maxed out at paying them $5,000 extra.
And I'm treated the same way, and it's 5,000, but not the tier, so that's why I ultimately, like judges and Jared in 2025 will earn the $183,513 plus the 5,000 at the 188,513. So my pay is to be in parity with the elected prosecutor and the judges by commission standard.
They got a 3%.
So I know, and that's why I get
On the
this,
state.
pardon, yes, so I get the exact, in order for Greene County to get the reimbursement from the public defender commission, and they have to pay, I have to be paid similar, not similar, the same as the judges and the elected.
So if we paid what we paid, then it'd be higher.
That's what I'm,
Yeah.
correct, so I can't accept the tier. I don't feel comfortable.
Even if the
accepting
4% raise is 1% more than what they receive in the state.
correct, and that's what we did. Historically, the chief public defender doesn't get the raise based upon the county employee raise, it's based upon what's set in the state.
Okay.
So what you're saying is we should just look at the judge's salary, add $5,000 to it, and that's the number.
Yes, which would be the
188,513,
correct. Not the 190.
and exempt you from the tier raises like we do the other.
Yes.
I agree with that, with one caveat, 8 years from now, we'll all forget that, we'll just give you the 4%, jack it up and up and up, and that's where we're, another line item you may have been in here.
That's one number.
And I will treat, as long as I am in this position, I will keep reminding you of that.
Yeah.
But I would suggest, you can give my tier to my other employees, spread it out, I don't care, but I can't.
Well, I guess
I should be paid.
one, but if it's replaced with a salary ordinance to make an annotation.
If we broke it apart,
I mean, if we
because
just added like a notes column and that could be added to the salary ordinance, so that would be something that would keep it fresh in our minds. Like,
well, what I'm saying is if we broke it apart and put a line item in there for $5,000.
For the stipend,
The $5,000,
county stipend.
yeah, county stipend, and then match the public defender's salary every year it's promulgated what they get. The issue with that actually is you wouldn't get 4% this year, you get 3%. That's what they get.
Correct.
But you would be in parity with the judge and the prosecutor full time.
And that's how it's been every year.
Okay. Can we add a line item?
so what does that mean?
So-
This line item would be then. Just find
This
out.
line item would be $183,513.
Okay,
83 or 88.
183, 513. You want to double check? You know that's right.
That's correct, yes, and then plus the 5,000,
Cyber line.
Yes.
so we could put 5,000 back in that 0013 line. That's already there.
Just keep the line.
Yeah, just keep that line and put the 5,000
Public
there.
defender, change the name to it,
I can change them.
county stipend. And 5,000 and lock it in at 5,000.
That way we're not actually adding a line, or different numbers.
Are you okay with that, Ashley?
I'm okay with that, I just, how does that work as far as? When do I take that 5,000, how do I do it? How do I send, because historically it's just been added in under,
How do we pay the judges and the prosecutors? I think we did
how does their stipend get paid?
So
bi-weekly.
the judges, no, the judges get sent to the state pays it to the police and the money to the state. Prosecutor, we split his out 26 days.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it'll just say, is it on the 2 deposits then, or will they just add it with?
It's not the same deposit, it'll be getting paid from two.
Okay.
Or two different deposits. Same time.
Is that okay?
That's okay with me,
And every year then we'll just keep track of what this does. And there may be years where the judiciary gets 6% and we still go with 4%.
Yeah, I know, I have to follow.
And you get a bigger one.
that's correct, and that's exactly how it, is to be treated, so long as.
So this year you lose, next year you might win.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm okay with that, believe me, I believe that's only
1%.
the proper way to treat it, because I, definitely do not believe that I should, my pay should be more than our judges. Or our elected prosecutor, so I'm good with being in parity with them, and I know that that's how it's to be done in order for the county to get our reimbursement.
Ready?
We ready to move on from here now?
You ready for a motion?
We ready for a motion?
I think we're ready.
We're doing good this year. It's
So I'll make a motion that we accept budget with 4% increases for those employees who are county employees. No raises for the contract people. And changing line 0010 to 183,513. And adding $5,000 to line 00.
Hold on, Aaron.
0010, right?
Oh, the contract, one of the contracts did go up.
I know, that's why I'm saying they don't get a raise.
0016.
But it's as listed here.
Yeah,
Okay,
So our contracts this year are not getting raises.
they'll get what is,
That's what that's on there, I think 6%.
6% is what's put in here. Sam.
That's why I said contractors don't get the 4%.
62.4.
The contractor get 4%.
You don't. Okay, I'm lost.
She put in for 6%, but should they
So
not?
we're gonna renegotiate their contract?
Every year we do, annually.
Okay,
So how did you come up with 84.8 on the line 16?
Cause he was 80,000, so. Rick, at the 0.3 public defender spot that the council approved me at 81,573. For contracts, they're based, well, let me back up, employees. My full-time employees have to be paid in parity with full-time prosecutors. Contract, it's not a parity provision, it's a minimum base rate provision. And so for the contract, his minimum base rate in 2024 as a full-time equivalent was 80,000. So even though I requested the 81,573 for a full-time, since he renewed as a full-time contract, I started him with the base rate that was changed in 2024 to 80,000. So that's why.
And then put a raise on it.
Correct.
Yeah,
So it was
still
80,000 plus
4%.
6%.
okay, so the contract individuals are getting
The 4%.
Yes.
Oh,
So I got your
you
four and
only
six.
negotiate a 6% with them.
No, I didn't renegotiate.
Okay.
I don't renegotiate, I know what you guys are
Got
doing.
it.
So 16, I guess I figured, instead of 0, maybe just write in there that he was at 80,000 in 2024, and then it'd be the 4% raise, what I'd be requesting for those contract positions.
83,200.
That sounds correct. And then the 10 would be 60,000 plus the full.
4%.
Correct.
Okay,
Are we still in the middle of a motion?
yes.
Yeah, Karen.
I thought we were.
I'll try to read it. I'll try to read it. So I move that we accept this as presented with the following exceptions. Changing line 0010 to be 183,513. Adding $5,000 to line 0013. Changing the longevity to be $1,800. And moving all raises, other raises to 4%. I think that covers it.
I'll second it.
You need to put a number on line 16 because it's a new number. Making that number 83,200.
Wait a minute, line 16?
Yeah, that other defender, there's 0 over there on the left side. So we can't do a 1.04 on that.
I'll say a
I
16.
don't see it.
It's down in the contract, down the bottom.
I see, yeah.
We should,
So you put 80,000 there.
no, put the 83,200, the budget number.
Okay.
Well, that's
83.
4%.
Okay,
The base was 80,000, right?
The base isn't on there.
do I have to say that all again?
No, I think it makes sense.
We gotta have it.
Right, that's what you're saying.
Did anybody second?
Is everybody heard on that motion? Karen made the motion.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Yes.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Welcome. That one too bad.
Are we done?
No.
We got.
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
You don't need that, right? Thank you, council. Have a good day.
Thank you. We got break time right there.
Where did Roger go?
You forgot to stop, so you have to go get it. His brother George, go ahead and talk.
You want to take care of yours?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take you, George.
No, she needs a
That's
break.
break time anyway.
We just took
Heather
one.
needs a break.
Please.
Yes, no.
Please. You're the one keep, no, I'm just going to yes. We need to squeeze George in real quick.
Yeah.
Except that jail commander. The other one's break, but the other one's break.
I'm giving you a break, Heather.
10-minute break. 10-minute recess.
Well, in a sense, George, so that he needs to present as he did before. Not just, just on the joke.
Right there, yeah.
I already told him I should.
You got it.
I don't do the whole thing, do we?
Yeah, you got your friend ready.
And that's the public safety lit. The jail lit. Okay.
No, actually, you remember what's going on.
Yeah. Do you want to know?
Are you wrong? Yeah.
All goes well. We don't have to.
Roger, the last one.
Yes.
Couple of points.
We go over next management corner.
But we were well under, I'm sure we got over you were Brent showed me, we're well under what we had initially done, so
We're good, yeah.
it's like.
Cold and I like that. Sorry.
No fun numbers.
Yeah, you know.
380, thank you. Yep.
Yeah, somebody questioned that yesterday. And Sharon was on it. Reading Martin's technicality, whether it was live stream versus not live stream, I was flying the only one, I guess.
Well, yeah. Because it didn't pass enough in purchase orders.
Yeah. Yeah, if there had been one more, if Jerry had been here, well, we wrote on. All right. Does she know how long she's gonna still be in the hospital? And I think she said she had a brief in the middle of the week. I don't know, it took Sherry for a little bit. Yeah, about that, and I was downstairs, and well, we don't, I move on to the office, I was hoping, that you guys have time just to recall me rather than. You know, I'm sure you rather just, you guys get it all addressed and stuff.
But it says, I'm gonna wait till September. It's like, oh,
Do it now. Yeah. You know, offhand, all our offices of the tier systems and policies for the year.
Did you hear that?
Pardon me? I was asking mine from you, what the tier was going to call the county, the first year across all the different offices.
Well, we have an idea, but I don't think we've come to a full conclusion. What's that, longevity?
This one?
Did they at the bottom?
No, it does not. That's what I was looking at.
It was just my curiosity.
That's the way I want it, you know. You get too far away from home. Yeah, sure. Well, for instance, in the highway department alone,
And she told me that's
$69,900. The sheriff's department. Lit PST, 41,500. There were over 100 right there.
You know,
The ambulance,
probation is over 31,000.
29 per ambulance.
I think it's going to be 250 or 300,000, but just guessing.
Well, that's why we pulled that 300,000. Yeah,
Big number.
you know, if we extend it on beyond 20 years. Won't be quite as big, but it'll be another big number next year.
Yeah.
Because now you're looking at people that are getting an additional, whatever it's gonna be, 1,000, 2,000, 2,500, whatever it is.
Now you're talking about 911. Your 911 stuff is over 13,000.
41, 42. And I don't know that. You know, different items, talking to my people. Going back to just the longevity and say like $100 per year longevity for anything over 20. And I don't know how those numbers would match the others, it would be. But I think that would be another possible solution that would be, be something that we're looking at. And just leave a maximum 2 or 20, and then go back with that.
$100 per year of service, you're saying?
Yeah, that's what a lot of counties currently do on their longevity.
Yeah.
After them, it's just like a flat $100 per year. Well, we discussed several, 3 different possibilities of that. Yeah, maybe learn from more time on to. So it's kind of when we get the next wage, by this time next year, we'll have a lot better feel on it a lot sooner, let's put it that way. Right. All right, then I'll bring
Nope, that was not back.
Oh. Might be getting the 2 cigarettes down.
Now you can pick on somebody else.
That's why I choose, I forgot this big bag of peppermints, I said, I can get you some peppermints. Peppermint patty?
Y'all see a little, y'all,
Yeah, I am, well, we want them about part of them. So we break for lines, so we get time to their gateway together, is that how we're doing it?
That's what we've done before. I don't know if she, and that's what we did, last
Prior, yeah.
yeah.
So is that what we're gonna do? I don't know, how much for lines.
Yeah,
That's the way Heather, down, I usually took an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And he worked on it during his lunch hour and they got it quickly afterwards. Well, we got it to where we take lunch from 12 to 1, come back at 1, and discussion and callbacks then. We don't have any callbacks, do we?
No, I don't think so. Everything's good.
George. Yes, George. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
Who hasn't been here?
He's been here, he popped in and walked back out.
Shouldn't take too long to get this and Roger done. Keep Roger on track.
Depends on how much he wants to come in the corner.
Let's keep him on track.
Who's doing the corner? Heather,
Sure,
sheriff doing the corner?
sure. Yeah.
So the corner, I don't even see it listed on here.
He's not, yeah, she was like, oh, she was him.
Okay, fine.
He's coming in now.
Okay.
Okay. Did we get this morning?
What do you want to do lunch today? Are we gonna come back after lunch or?
That's up to you guys.
How much time will you need to get everything updated today?
I have the cut numbers already so far.
So that really is all we need to know, right?
Right.
It's where, we just need to know what the final number is.
Yes,
Finally, budget number, now we got the cat.
I have up to date to be done. So
Okay.
there's much to do today.
Okay. Okay.
So we can just break for a little bit and then come back and then you'll be done.
Yep.
We don't need to break for lunch.
Yeah, that's great.
As long as we can get.
Everybody's ready.
The other three done.
Yeah. Back to session. George.
Good morning, council.
Morning.
So I'm here to address the one item, the line 12 in the 380, the jail budget. And that's my jail commander. I know this is a little deviation from the norm, but I feel as the elected official, I need to ask for more money for my jail commander. And most of you wouldn't realize there's no reason that you would what his job entails. He basically was the day-to-day operations of the jail. I'm over there, on pretty much a daily basis, but I couldn't do it without him. He gets lots of calls after hours on vacation, different things. I sent him to a lot of extra training this last year and a half. And on top of that, he's grossly underpaid compared to jail commanders in the immediate area. So I feel really compelled with what I mandate that he take care of, and he does. In the way he communicates with me, the way he performs his job, that I need to ask for more from him. He earns way more than I'm going to ask for. But I would like to, I know we're looking at 4% COLA raises, and then he would qualify for he's a 9-year employee, but I would like to add another $1,500, I believe it was, within the 4% COLA in the tier. You know, bottom line, I put in my budget for him to be paid in 2025, $53,044. Again, I know it's a deviation from the norm, but I feel obligated to ask for this for him. He's worth way more than that. Those are my arguments, and again, unless you're in the jail and working there and understand what he is tasked with every day, he's dealing with inmate issues, employee issues, medical issues, mental health issues, training issues. And it all falls on his shoulders between me and him. I couldn't do it without him. I don't want to lose him. And I think that's I know you guys have a tough job in Greene County. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the tax base that a lot of counties do. But I think he earns every bit of that. So that's my request for my jail commander and my arguments for that.
So what are you requesting his base be at?
Hey, guys, I thought that we were just gonna revote so that
We are.
I mean,
Motion.
we just need to make the same motion and revote, right?
The email, here's what the email says. Recall George as part of your recalls. Let him fully present the issue, discuss, debate the issue, and take a vote.
He did. So
This must be fully vetted and not just passed over easily because Jerry was not present when the vote was taken yesterday. Full vetting, discussion, and debate is required. This is for Jerry's benefit.
So
minus the tier, I believe I'd have to rework it, but I think it was his base pay plus the 4% COLA. That's what we asked for originally in our budget. And I think I added 1,500 plus the tier. That should come out to
well, his tier should be 1,500.
right.
Because it had it down in our worksheet is 3,000. So it should be 15.
No, he's a department head.
Right. But he's only a 5-year.
Yeah.
His 10-year isn't until next year.
Right. He's
So it's only
he's given a 5-year tier.
just a 5-year tier, which is 1,500.
I had a note that, that says we added 2.6% to his base.
I think, Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we voted to leave it just like it reads right there, 53,044.
we did.
And without rehashing all the numbers, that's what I'm.
That included the tier, it gave a little bit of raise.
And everything that I'm just asking to get it approved has 53,044, including his tier. And the extra stipend plus the 4%. That's the bottom line number. That's what it comes out
That is the
to.
whole number right there.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to just on the jail commander that we accept it like he's proposed it. Is it the only one we need to make the motion on or the whole thing?
We need to approve the whole budget.
Okay, on the, and the 4% raise plus tiers for the rest of the budget,
That's all we want.
the rest of the 380.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor by Ron. Second by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
No,
All against?
All engaged?
You vote yes?
yeah, I would not.
Okay.
Motion carried. All right, thank you, council.
Did you get that, Sharon?
Yeah.
Sorry to drag you back here.
Thank you, Joel. It's not a problem. You want it all done. Perfect. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're out, Roger.
Sit down, you know, here.
Which one is he? Local emergency planning?
3839 emergency management.
The only thing she's supposed to go first. Which one we doing?
361. 1152.
1152, so that's 54, 55.
Were you here then?
Pardon?
Were you here then? In 1811?
Yeah, it was. He was Northern manager to it. Signed my birth certificate. And appointed him with fine. Hey, you give me two of these.
I don't see any change in this.
It's on the LAPC.
On the LAPC, make a motion, because as is, there's no changes from last year.
Second. Motion made by. Who made that?
I did. Ron second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
What else? Besides LA, we got LPC done, so yeah. EMA.
That one. It's 1,361.
Page 39.
38.
Oh. That's just do 39. There's only a few things there. Okay, Roger, can you give us an identification? You got one person on here, director, that's you, correct?
Do you know what you put in for as a raise? What percentage?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I think it was 5%.
thank you, Heather.
You took those to 4%. But. There's more coming.
Longevity is 1,000, that's check, that's good in the budget. And 7,500,
I put 9,000 for extra hire. It was an increase. And I'll tell you why. I've got two people. I've got Paul, who is there one day a week. But Paul has come down with lung cancer. And he came back to work. He is on medication. He's on oxygen, which is good. The prognosis at first was not good, but it looks like this drug is working. And he's not on oxygen. However, I have Carla Rollison, who was David Rollison, Rollo's wife. She took his place and she is minding the office when I'm not there. I got some extra vacation this last year and I've been using that in some things. And having between, I pay her $9 an hour and I pay Paul $11 an hour. For Paul one day a week, but he's missed some time. But she has filled in for me because I've taken some of my vacation this year. And had some other things to contend with. So that is the only increase I'm really asking for. If you need to take that out of something else in here, that's fine with me.
I make a motion, we approve as is with 4% raise.
And the tiers and
And the tier,
you know about the tier system. I've shared many of them, exactly. Your day of happiness. You might have shorted yourself, but how many years you got in? A bunch. I hate to say this. Full-time. Full-time. Since 94, January 1st.
that's good.
But I've been here since 85 and I just found out I'm the longest serving director in the state. Larry Robb from Posey County has retired. And he started in 1980. So.
does what he had in
30
here-
years, yeah. Which is
It don't count for that much in the tier.
yes.
Well,
Yeah, it'll count for the two or 7,500 and 4% raise.
Yep.
The number's $54,942.72.
Would you come up with 55982?
No, 54,942.72. Brian, what'd you get?
Yep.
And 48,482 for his base.
I got 47,442.
Did you have his?
443. I round it.
Wow.
443. You round up.
Yeah, 47,443.
So 45,618 plus his tier plus 4%.
No, not plus is two.
I mean,
Percent.
longevity.
Your percent's 47,443.
Okay, you didn't add longevity.
No, that's another line item.
And then longevity is 7,500.
Okay, that's my bad.
Tier is 7,500.
Tier.
Yeah.
54,943.
So, yeah, we're willing to sign.
What you'll be making after the first year.
Okay,
I'll give some back.
yeah, I'll give it time to stand.
Now, the kicker is, with this tier system in effect, longevity, next year will be the last year for it, if I pay no arrears. And the tiers go every 5 years so far. So if they change the tiers to where it goes on out, then you'll get another, what, $5,000 for 30 days?
We know this, but there were several years, there were no races.
Right.
And we just took this to 20 years with the wage commission that I said on me and Kelly, Nate, and Heather. And we're gonna try to extend this out to 50 years. So we just started with 20 because it was a normal career figure, 20 years, something like that.
25 would be 2,500.
So if we bump this to 25, 30, 35, 40, then there will be a tier raise every 5 years. Plus your cost of living if we're able to get it. So
You don't put a cost of living in there too?
you get 4% cost of living next year plus your 75.
Okay, what is the cost of living based on?
4% is one. You base it off. We kind of guess what the nationals is gonna be, but we're about 1% over.
Yeah, that was gonna be like 2.6 something, the latest, and then, so we made it 4.
When I was trustee of the Sonic Lodge, and we had some rental property over here where the Chinese restaurant is and the barber shop. We tied the leases to the cost of living, increased consumer price index for all urban areas. And I found out that's what they use for social security.
That's basically what.
And that's from the Department of Labor.
So we're gonna be 8% higher than what the actual.
Okay.
Okay, so I made the motion, 4%.
We also base it on how much our assessed values went up and our lit. The county lit went up 9% last year. The county lit local income tax.
Okay.
We collected 9% more last year than we did. And the assessed values for properties in this area resulted in a 4% increase in property taxes. So
Well, after you vote on this, there's a couple of things I'd like to bring to your attention on that. Well, one's not the best, but if you go ahead and vote, and I'll be there.
I got a motion on the floor from Brian, I believe. Second. Second by Ron. All in favor?
I think Greene County and all the counties are getting hosed on sales tax. When you buy something online, they don't ask what county the sales tax goes to. That goes to the Indiana Department of Revenue. None of that comes back here. We get no credit for it. So I think we're being hosed. I'm just throwing that out to you. Okay, something to check into. The other thing is, and you'll be getting an invitation soon. I want to let you know, I gave you that on the New Madrid Fall. October the 29th, and you're definitely getting an invitation. 6 o'clock, White Township Fire Department, we're having our hazardous material incident exercise, but it will combine with earthquake. The hazmat is caused by an earthquake. And I'm doing a comprehensive exercise. I will tell you part of it, it involves the city of Lynn as well as the city of Jasonville. And we haven't had an earthquake exercise, and we're coming closer and closer to that earthquake from the New Madrid Fault. People have forgotten about it. They're not thinking about it. And it out of sight, out of mind. And I'm trying to get people to think, what would we do to prepare for that? The overall objective of this is to save lives and reduce damages. So the New Madrid Fault, Real Spring Lake in Tennessee was created when Mississippi ran backwards for 3 days. So I've been through 5 earthquakes in my lifetime. And they haven't been big, and we've been lucky. In fact, we had one here, we had bricks fall down out of the courthouse. It wasn't the earthquake, it was wet up there, but the shaking helped precipitate some of that. So if you can make it, dinner's at 6, which start a little before 7. I want to be done by 8:30. Don't want to stay there all night. You're going to learn a lot, you're going to see a lot, and I think your eyes are going to be opened. We're going to play a lot of it. So, that's all I have. I thank you so much.
And I appreciate your work on the. What people like the explorers. Terry said they came in
I'm sorry.
The defibrillators that we talked about, she said they came in.
Oh, by the way, I applied, it was about $250,000 for radio grant for the sheriff. And I wouldn't normally do that, but he asked me and I couldn't say no. That is a bear with this new grant process. We applied for working on a grant yesterday, and the thing is broken in the program out there. That's another story. But anyway, I can save the sheriff some money doing that. I think we got a good chance for it because we haven't had a grant in about 5 or 6 years. Well, it took Paul and me 2 or 3 weeks to go through this step by step. But he wanted some 800 megahertz radios, so we're going to try to get those for him. So that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roger.
Thanks for the good work.
We have to do ourselves, we haven't done ourselves.
I've seen we're gonna help with you. We wanted to get the corner.
Yeah, let's do the coroner, get him out.
That's a suggestion.
John?
Okay, well.
9.
Nine.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Tom Boucher with the coroner's office.
Heather, do you know what percentage they put in? Or 5%?
Yeah, it's a little higher value.
Did, or the tiers added in here,
There's only one tier, that's Joe.
because he's elected, no, everybody else is considered part-time,
Yeah, his is a little higher.
his is part-time? Okay,
Yeah, Joey 1,500 and his proposed budget was a little higher than.
yeah, he's gonna look in, whatever.
A tier to make it right.
I think we just,
You know, the pathology budget's been pretty close.
Pathology budget, staying close, yeah, it's really hard to predict how
Yeah,
it's.
last year was low with that too.
Yeah, some years we have enough, just some years there has to come back and requesting our money. The bad part about just pathology is there's 2 or 3 other things that go along with that we have to pay for. There's a more usage, which that's not on here, but we take that out of the autopsy fund. And then there's transportation and there's drug screens, which all in total amounts to somewhere around 2,000, 2,200, somewhere right around in there. Sometimes autopsy can vary, it depends on if it's like a homicide or something, or if it's just a normal one. Sometimes the drug screen can vary, depends on how in depth you want to get, you know, if there's if it's something besides just your normal drug screen and alcohol.
When your wife kills you, there might be some poison.
Pardon me?
Your wife kills you, it might be poison. That's a murder choice. Or your ex-wife.
You make the motion?
I make a motion for the 4% with tier for the coroner. The rest of it as is.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Jeff. And so we need the council, these, what do we first? 71 or 16? Page 71, rainy day.
What fund is that?
1186.
Rainy day.
And fund 1186.
Yeah.
Let's look and see how much is in there.
1.7 something, when I don't.
7 million, it only took in 25,000 year to date though.
We got,
Well, that was for the quarter, I think.
we got $1,780,685.
No, it says year to date.
Okay. That's from the hospital that we loaned.
Hospital payment,
Yeah,
Yeah, that we loaned them the money for the chillers.
and then it goes pays payments once a year, twice a year, semi-annual. So we get another 25, because it was.
Yeah.
7 years of 350,000, 50,000 a year.
Yep.
Split up 2 ways. Okay,
My question on this was, I don't know why we're appropriating any money out of it when we don't have anything we're gonna spend it on.
Well, we appropriate it for next year, and then if we have something,
It's already there and you can.
we can appropriate it then, and we'll have it on a line
So
item.
you can, it's more freedom that you can spend it.
Along
I
that,
mean, we've got
for long.
way more money than that, so.
Oh, we got, well, 1780.
so what kind of things does rainy day money get spent on?
Just like what's going on there, the hospital, we've got
Commissioners,
along that, commissioners loans, what have we got in the past with that? I'm trying to think back.
It was in the red when I first came on. It was-
The last couple of years, nothing has been spent on it.
There's restrictions on what can be spent,
Yeah,
what it can be spent on?
yeah, according to this, I don't know what they all are because it's just got the IC codes.
What is the IC code for that rainy
Well,
day?
there's a whole bunch of them. You wanna just copy this? It says that this is the ordinance.
Yeah,
well, I make a motion to pass what we have on against.
As is.
Yeah, it's on the floor, Ron. Have a second.
Second.
Window second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna do ours. That's one of them I got left.
Yep, 16. Page 16.
we got riverboat there too, somewhere.
We don't have.
We would have people to do for, but
And we're not getting any riverboat money?
we might be, but we don't ever know until it comes in.
What, do we have a balance in there?
Yeah, we had $153,311.64.
So if we ever need to, we could appropriate some out of there.
Yeah.
Okay, rainy day? Yeah.
Man,
How much is in that riverboat?
here you go, we get this.
153,000 and
That's exactly what.
And there's not enough restrictions on that, okay?
Yeah, I got the budget.
I don't think so. We used to pay economic development out of it. But last year, we didn't know if we were getting money, and we got money in October.
Okay, let's do the council and then we'll talk about riverboat here in a minute. Council as well, 1661.
Yeah. this-
16.
This spreadsheet, I mean, I don't know
Page
what the
16.
book says, but it says 5 council members. That's not how it's calculated, is it?
No, 7.
No, we've got a president and vice president.
Well, but
That's separate.
there's stipends.
So let's see, 81,942 divided by 7. 11,706, is that our
That's about right, yeah.
tied to 1.04? That should be 12,174. Who did our budget? Kelly?
Kelly,
I have no clue.
I don't know, do any of you guys qualify for the stipend? Brent, you do?
Vice President.
the
Oh,
tier,
you're talking about tiers.
Cheers.
tier,
Yeah.
Kelly, Brent, Ron,
Jerry.
and Jerry. And on the tier sheet, they're on the very back.
Very, very back. Okay, so the tiers are. 1,500, Kelly, that's a 5-year. Brent's a 5-year. Ron's a 5-year. Jerry is a 15-year.
But all these should not be at 1,500.
Yeah.
Kelly would be
For what
vice
reason?
president.
No, this is, and all elected officials are up in that top category.
Stipends are.
All elected, okay, all right, yeah, just so we don't have to discern who's the first deputy, second deputy. Is that right? That's what I was told,
What's that?
that the department has first deputies and all elected officials were in that category.
Okay.
That's why they're 1,500.
Kelly just texted me in and she thought in ours, she had put a 5% raise increase.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll take it.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. She got here, hold on just a second.
I think we've got enough for,
Yeah, Heather, can you, or either one, maybe Randall has it, how much have we actually paid our financial guy this year?
0.047.
Said she's trying to access the meeting, Sharon, but it's not letting her in.
161, personal consultant.
Last year it was 32,700.
35,000.
For what?
What we paid?
The PLS agent said last year the financial consultant was over budget, that you guys had spent $32,739.
So year to date, we've spent more than half of it. But we got 14,176 left.
32,739 is what she says we spent. On the
Last year.
financial consultant.
She said that was last year.
She went over budget last year, yeah, we went over budget last year, period, we spent 32,739.
I know they told me this before, but who's the personnel consultant and what do they do?
So, I'm assuming it'd be better, but not.
I mean, since we got an HR department, do we need a personnel consultant?
That's criminal.
It probably is.
This says financial consultant, this says financial consultant.
Well, there's another one, personal
But she's talking 35,000
for the financial.
for financial.
That's what she wants to raise it to?
No,
That's what it is, 31.
she put in 35,
That's fine.
because we went over budget last year.
Right, like she says, who is our personnel consultant?
I have no clue what that is.
48. Cause I don't know what that is.
How much does she got in her?
You know what that description people have there?
Because we use them all the time.
What is it?
Where the checks being paid out of, who to?
It's Conrad Shilly, something else.
Oh, is that to them as well?
I thought that was big. Thought he was Coonrod.
Okay, then I've misspoken. It's Wagner.
Oh, yeah.
There's something like that.
Handbooks,
Yeah, well, and it's page descriptions and all that.
job description, handbooks,
That's what it is.
yeah.
Because we use them.
That's really somebody that Cass is gonna use now.
Down.
Or Marvin always has. I see everything as well.
And does Marvin have it in the commissioner's budget or,
I don't know, I'm just thinking that's probably it.
or was this put in here for the wages and salaries committee to be able to call
No.
Wagner, she get associated.
Wagner Irwin?
That's who does our handbooks.
Yeah.
The PDIC. They're the same ones that do the ones for the city, our handbook.
The PDs and all that.
It's a monthly fee.
To keep him on as a retainer,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
to be able to call them and ask them a question.
Pretty much. Which you'd have to have.
Yeah. Must have gone up. To 11,500.
Well, looks like it. Yeah, because last year we spent 11,400. Well, I'd make a motion for the 4% in tiers, except what we have.
Let me see here just a minute. Tiers, Kelly was a 15,
Yeah. Kelly, Brent,
Brent,
Ron,
Jerry, 5. So that's 8,
9,500.
9,500. 81,942, 81,942 times 1.04 is at 85,219. Plus 9,500, she put 5% in there, there's a little room.
Yep.
Just all fits, all fits.
My motion's for 4%.
4% plus tiers, right?
That's tiers,
Check.
I'll
Gookin and
Sharon second.
and the rest of it has Ron made a motion to have a second.
Yeah,
Any more
second.
discussion? Second. Taken by Karen. All in favor?
Like, the only one we have left, the riverboat thing?
And rainy day, well, we already did rainy day, right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so riverboat, let's look at that just a minute.
Is it in our book?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing appropriate.
What's the fund number? Then the budgetary status though, right?
11 to Martin. Let me go.
1180,
No, 11.
1191.
I believe so.
Yes.
11. I don't even have it. Do you have it?
It's in our old one. It's not in our new one. I'm looking at the 23 book.
Yeah. And I don't see what the budgetary status is, so I can't tell what the balance is. Do you know what the balance is?
It's on that paper.
Yeah, it's on the post-it. It's 153,000.
It's on that little yellow strip in the really landing. You have it, right? You can write the whole. What do you do with it? It's above it.
Is that our there?
That's mine. Yours was a small one.
Yeah.
Is that it for it?
No, I give it to you.
It's a neon one like that.
Oh, it's like somewhere in there.
It's okay. Look.
No, you're fine. It's stuck somewhere.
And then on your computer, is it? You didn't have it open?
No, maybe.
Okay, I have it if you're ready. It is $153,311.64.
That's what she just said.
111, 3.
What?
153.
311.64.
Okay. What can we spend that money on?
Previous years, there have been payments to Zone Task Force, Westgate Tech Park, radios, training simulators, broadband, work systems for equipment, highway signs, video conferencing, EMA computers, microvote upgrade.
There we go. That is coincidence.
Isn't that a coincidence? So here's my idea on a couple of things. Okay.
And we used to pay economic development.
Yeah.
You don't now, right?
And we don't get anything into it anymore.
It's a guessing game. We don't know until right before they put the money into our account.
Okay.
We get a letter from the state stating that we're getting. And then they deposit it into our.
Because you have to be within a certain distance of the casino.
Right.
And this was French Lake.
Now, that's gonna be Evansville.
Yeah. And
Now we got.
oh,
Yeah, and it's not a little loud.
I'm not sure what the person I did.
Okay. Because we just opened a new casino.
Yep.
And I don't believe Greene County touches Vigo County.
not really, no.
But we don't touch, Evansville either.
And from what I've seen on the news, they said only the counties that would be touching
Contingent counties.
would be getting.
You gotta go until you have the French Lake, that's why we're out down there too.
Where we started with Evansville is when the riverboat fund first came on. Remember when they first opened the first casino, that was on the river at Evansville. The riverboat money come in, I believe, quarterly back then. Because we were getting a substantial amount of money, remember, Jerry,
Yes.
through the riverboat. And then just over the years, somehow that. They said, okay, next year you're only gonna get this percentage, and then the next year was lower, than next year, and so on. I don't think the gambling went down, they just took it away from us, so.
I don't know if it matters, but Marvin says she can try it again. We're about done, as far as Kelly goes, trying to log in.
She never heard the totals.
It was frozen, it should be okay, whoever was texting. I thought it was wrong.
Okay.
Let's see what this says.
something to do with it being on the river or because we got money and that's when up there stationary and over down. And also where it had to be on the river. Well, that's the first one. Okay, and then somebody said it in free buys now that even if Terrell would have put it on the river, we wouldn't have got it because it would just been the adjoining counties like it is now, and then the ones along the river for so many years. The Sullivan County would be the end of, like North County would be later.
Yeah, it says it's to a local allocation of the gaming tax, but it doesn't give particulars.
I thought there was layers on radius. Is that what I was open when that one that they're open, when we had to be closer to. The Clay County got something, the president works with my wife, president of the council, is that she didn't get enough money for their appropriated to build 500 houses in Clay County. To accommodate and there's just, right, that's right. So 500 houses, how much money? We did. So easy, bring in big dollars now.
Says exactly what we talked about. Some cases, counties that are adjacent or within a certain distance receive revenue, but it doesn't say the actual numbers. This is Chat GPT, this is not the code. I'm asking AI, go out there and scour the internet and tell me about this.
And give it some money, you'll ever find it.
What
Set amounts.
set amounts, it probably changes. So a couple of things that I think about this riverboat money. We have been battling with trying to get broadband brought to this county, and generally that takes some sort of county match. Well, there's some matching money there, if that ever happens.
How much
Second piece,
could be used for? I mean.
yeah, and rainy day. Second piece is back to my least favorite topic. Excuse me, Brian, but giving money to the fire departments. There's money laying there. There's definitely not 30,000 for each of them. If we went countywide like they did last time. Here's my view on that. I looked at all the numbers. And here's the answers that I have. Yes, I understand that not one township is capable of purchasing a new fire truck. No. Is that not true? Correct. Yeah, they do not have the funds. They're going to have to come begging for the funds, irrespective of how we've ever given them some money before. So the fire trucks and fire engines and so forth are one of those things that gets talked a lot about, but they usually get bought with somebody else's money anyway. Grants, county money that has to come out of the budget somewhere. That's why I'm reluctant to give them money, because we're pretty much the backstop for that one there. Taxing and levy, I know the township I'm associated with, the township I live in, has not raised its levy in forever. I'm not advocating that. Because when you look at the tax rate, Roger said we don't get any state taxes because of Amazon. I'm going to tell you that this county has a very high state income tax rate because of the lid. We're 3.5 at the state. I think that's what it is, 3.5, 3 point something. And the EMS lid and all of that, I mean, we're bumping up against the end of that. I gotta tell you. The maximum we can put on it is the max rate's 2.5, and currently Greene County is at 2.15. So you're saying state income tax in Indiana is over 5% to live in this county.
Said that.
Oh, it's even growing.
Are you emailing? Yeah, he's trying to fix it. He thinks it is.
They need to try again.
He says he doesn't have the right, to text Kelly about the reading.
And so our team not showing up, I assume that you were emailing, they're supposed to text me, it's like, oh, breakfast.
Yeah, I've emailed, I didn't email, right? We've been texting. I thought I'd try again just about 2 minutes.
I'm just glad.
Now, the other side of this, and if you remember back when the fire departments came to you and asked for money, was if you can't give it to the fire departments, give it to the sheriff's department to get our radio system fixed.
That was something to get radios throughout the county.
Now, it'd be a thing to spend it on.
Now, perfect example is Friday night. We had an incident down at Wagglers. We could not get out on our portable radios because there's issues and ECS or one of the radio companies needs to come in and look at it and find out why we can't transmit from a portable radio to that tower without any interference. Even when if fire stuff is transmitted out from the radio tower to the fire departments, it's garbled, it's staticky, and we don't know why. If you listen to the ambulance side of it or the sheriff's department side of it, it's clear and crisp. But as far as the fire department side, it's garbled, it's got static, it's got a lot of background noise. We need to find out why. It's true. The sheriff has always said, I mean, before George, Sheriff Haxler, Sheriff Pierce, Sheriff Leon, it was always, if it's coming out of our office, it's my responsibility. Okay, let's get it, let's help you fund getting that fixed. Whether it needs to be a new radio for the fire, whatever it is. That's the other side that we were asking for. If you can't give it to the fire departments, let's give the sheriff money to get this radio system fixed.
But if you heard a lot of what we spend that money on, plus different things like that.
Right.
I think it's a wonderful idea. It's just been sitting there for 2 years.
I mean, I say spending that rainy day fund's gonna hurt us.
Right.
There's some from 2 years ago, but we got a deposit last October.
The rainy day or the river?
Because we're still in question on if we get too much in the rainy day fund, are they gonna penalize us?
Right.
But if they find out we got 300,000 in the rainy day,
We got more than that.
I mean, 100, what was it,
150.
We got 1.7.
1.78 in the rainy day, and then we turn around, we got all this money in the riverboat fund,
153.
and we're not spending anything out of it. Might be time to look at. I mean, all your radio, your departments,
Right.
with all your volunteers, it can be.
You know how much that'll take if you got.
You know, one of the things that the sheriff was looking at was going to a satellite repeater system, have a repeater system, east side, west side. And one signal, and it's just a satellite, whichever one you're closer to, you have better signal, it would reach out to that one and transmit it back to dispatch.
Does he
I don't know what that,
get a repeater like a mobile, like when you have a big event, where you can move a mobile there? You
no.
know what I mean? They do it for some events.
It's a radio transmitter that's for cell phones, so like AT&T.
Yeah, that's,
has the-
but they have one for radios too. They used to have one for when we done our skydive connection for the police. There was like there's a booster.
I don't know.
There was a Rantoul, the old Rantoul airport office. But they had one, they brought it out, set it up and then tested it. I remember they brought it every year.
That I don't know.
It was on a van and it set it all up and it said police on the side.
And that may be just a command center.
Well, good, yeah. Cause it was a big event, like
Yeah.
5,500 people.
Well, that would be our first step. We'd have to get over to somebody, which you hate paying money just for people to come in and tell you, but we need to find out what the problem is.
Right.
It is the actual.
I think this has been something, they've done the radio studies, the topographical studies to know where your dead spots, where your
Low spots.
low spots are. I think they've done that. I don't know how long ago it's been done. I don't know, that will need to be updated, but
Yeah.
like I said, if you can't give it to fire departments, that's fine. I understand that. But this is an issue that came to head. I mean, it really had issues Friday night.
That needs to be done.
It needs to be, yeah.
Yeah, it's calling the safety, yeah. Be
So,
something to look into, I mean, that'd be something I could bite on, maybe he'll write a grant.
well, and he, you know, he just said he just wrote a grant for new radios from the sheriff's department. So,
And I think it was some goals, we're gonna want now for the fire department. But they might have some information.
yeah,
The Department brothers need to pick a representative and
go.
get together and.
Get with it, let's go.
Information
Yep.
going. Golly, there she is.
There was, you know, our radio guy that we normally use, ECS, they're just so swamped.
Yeah.
It's tough getting anything out of it.
Now we're done,
I'm doing okay.
we're done,
Pardon?
we're done.
I figured.
Well, pretty smooth.
So we're going to lunch and then come back and see what others.
So we're talking about the riverboat funds and what we could use it on. And they're talking about the fire departments have issues when they have an emergency, like over wagons.
Yes.
It, or their radio systems, pretty sure Calera, talking about maybe appropriating the funds out of that. to
Out of
do
the riverboat fund or the rainy day fund?
The riverboat,
Okay. The amount that we have there, I don't think we've received any more funds this year. Correct?
There's 153 something, I think you said.
Yeah, but I don't think we've received anything else, so that's all there is in that fund.
we haven't received anything yet. She says mostly a surprise when she gets it.
And it's never a guarantee.
Yeah, it's never.
Correct.
I think that's where it is. Do you think it's worth having the rainy day fund in a riverboat fund both? Is that gonna hurt us down the road if we end up accumulating too much money?
I don't think so. So with the rainy day fund, the reason why I had updated that was because if we had any kind of emergency type situation, we would have those funds readily available. So that was my thinking on increasing that, but the riverboat, we can't really count on it too much anymore like we used to.
No, but I mean, if we spend anything out of it, it just sits there.
Right, yeah,
It's
so,
not- It needs to be addressed since we didn't give the fire anything.
yeah. I think that would be a good one to look at. Yeah, spending something out of it. I just, like I said, we don't know if we'll be getting any more in there. If we do, it's, like Heather said, a surprise and sporadic.
Yeah, well, I think we did brainstorm that, there's other things that could be useful as well. Yeah, we'll talk more on that later, we'll stay more with the budget now, what did you ask me to go, Karen?
I just said I would go to lunch and let Heather do her thing.
I thought we were just gonna wait a little bit.
How much time will you need to get the bond dollar together?
You just need the general fund, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You need time, we need 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Have another 50 minutes, 30 minutes,
30 minutes.
Make take a 30 now.
30 minutes?
Break. Are we coming back at 4:00?
Yep. Good with that?
Good. Okay, we recess till.
11:45, Jerry. 11:45, well, be back. I'll be back. You know, that's been my fault. I don't have it. Watch.
You know what time it is? Come by.
Yeah, I. 11:45.
So are we calling George back afternoon?
Yeah, he's right here.
Okay,
Everything's taken care of, we're just waiting to get the rough numbers back from Heather. I didn't know if you had lunch yet or what.
Yes.
Well, under, something happened today, we're gonna be well under our 16 rates, so we should be good, I think it's.
So you can eat your good off.
That's what I thought, is what I read is the.
Hopefully.
I thought, I just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 32.
But it's gone.
Do you guys have a specific number that you wanted to reach?
No.
As much as possible.
1.5. Which last year's approved budget was 33 million. This year's was 36 million, almost 37 million. And we cut that in half. I mean, the difference. 33 to 36, we cut 1.5.
Shouldn't have a problem getting that.
Not with a 4% levy increase. The only one that will probably be denied is EMS, but it is every year.
So you think right now that we're within the numbers we need to be, right, Heather?
I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't ever hear a number that they wanted to cut. But so far, we've cut 1,557,154.
Okay, well, I think that probably works out pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was telling Brian that last year's approved budget was 33 million. This year, they're requesting 36 million. And we kind of cut that in half, so the 33 to 36.
Right. So right now we're at, so if we're at 36 million and we're subtracting 1,557,54, that gets us at 34,442, 846. I would say that would be pretty close. I mean, I would think the 34 million would be a pretty good deal to say where we're at on things.
Yeah, for sure.
So do we have anybody that we're calling back that I've missed out on discussion with, or,
I don't think so.
okay,
We're reconvene back here in a couple minutes. Go over the final numbers. I think that's it.
okay. So obviously, you know, I had to leave whenever the sheriff was talking yesterday. What did we decide on the security officers? Did we give them what he was hoping to give them, or?
Yeah.
Huh?
No, we did not.
Okay.
Kelly, with the ending requested budget was 36,919,111.
Okay.
The 1.557154,
Yes.
35,361,957.
Say 35,361,000 what?
957.
Okay. Wonder if he wants me to meet that, or? I would still think that that would get approved because, you know, our levy and lit numbers are really good.
I agree. It's only a difference of $2,078,108
Okay,
from last year's approved budget.
yeah. I mean, I would think they would have to look at things because, you know, we have to, you know, like for instance, like, you know, we're paying a pretty big chunk of money for our public defender's office, you know, for the public defender and from everybody else.
Right.
Oh, Brian, do you know what the vote was on the courthouse security? Because I wasn't there. Was Jerry there to have a quorum?
For
What-
the security, Karen,
Zeros. What they were.
I think it was unanimous.
Dale Sanders? No, this is courthouse.
I think it was 5-0.
It
Okay.
was,
Okay,
Oh, I think you're talking about. Or no, she's.
the motion was 4% plus tiers and subtract $200 from longevity.
That's what I wrote.
Ron made it, Karen seconded it, and it was 5-0.
okay. Anyway, what I was saying is you would think that the state would look at like how much money as a county we're presenting that we pay, you know, the public defender's office and the probation office. Those are two big amounts that we pay in money. Plus
Yeah.
part of the prosecutor's office, you know, especially with us not getting that one grant and them having to, you know, having to show all that discovery information they need for all their cases now. I mean,
Yeah.
that puts all, you know, that puts all counties at a disadvantage when you're told you have to do this by certain statutes and stuff. So,
1.5.
Cool. We did good then.
I didn't do other parts. I just did,
Well, I don't think any other time it's. No, we have to talk about it.
no, but it will still count for the whole overall.
Right, but I mean, the only thing that we're got to do is to is the general fund, we're all right, I mean. Yeah.
Right.
We don't care about it.
For the most part, that's the big one. I mean, they still. Like last year, they still denied QMS.
Well, and I don't understand why we need the 2.1 billion in the budget, and everybody knows it's only one bit less than that.
Well, last year, they only wanted to give them like 6 months off. I have been write a letter. Yeah.
But by the way, I turned it off, it said.
When I seen that, I was out there just messing around, and I thought, "Oh, heck, I'm gonna be Jerry."
Brandon went back to the office. He said, I know this is gonna be a mistake, but I'm going back to the office.
Motion to.
He was asking if you wanted to tell the town goes up, stops at a crazy industry that didn't do so good here.
Yes.
Like it just.
It's gonna be wild for a little while.
Yes.
Said it'll be a little wild for a little while, this election going and,
The first day, I just think back and.
Yeah.
That's what about. You're gonna have a bunch of lawsuits, it's there. Which all probably the biggest ones. I think it was done here with him, like,
yeah.
Right, my son is a little bit of a. We're making.
We don't hear as much on the president election since Biden got out of there. Seems like it mellowed down a little bit. I don't think he has a lot.
Well.
It took the, yeah, it
Election board.
took the battle out of, the rematch, I should say. Huh? Yeah, I'll go turn it down. You're gonna have to pay me a heck of a lot more money than that.
It's sad that we have 300 million.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's the best two we can get.
Should we turn your finger back on here?
Yeah.
I was right in listening to. Someone get it out.
That's better, yes.
Oh, wait, I have it on here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll give about 5-10 minutes. Keep the meeting going.
Yes, I was just seeing things.
I'm leaving fast.
Maybe when we have. When we get around to about 5-10, I ran into him over the Chinese, she called the head for hours and I had to wait a little bit, he was still waiting out there. I inhaled every day and still, my watch is a little bit slower than this watch. I sat up there.
That's.
I told my ride to be here at 12:30, so.
You told your ride, I think you'll be fine.
I didn't have a chance to ask him how things were going today.
I just. Will be at the hospital or something?
No, she wasn't complaining about being hurt anywhere, except Nathan said I have to have an alarm board. Well, she told me after we got her back up into, got her back up and into her chair, she said, I thought I fell 2 times, so I think what she's done is she started to fall and she's trying to catch herself on my arm board, which I have set up in there. And then she fell all the way. And
That's why when my mother and I first started getting in that condition, Yeah, well, it wasn't her. Then she couldn't get up
yeah,
and. Now she got the point she knows not to get her, really want somebody there with her now. And she can get herself to the bathroom, stuff with the walker.
Mom had the walker for a long, long time, but I got a wheelchair on standby on it a few weeks ago because I'm like.
Well, we got her now, she gets up off the bed, I should say. It's in the semi wheelchair walker deal. She can walk with it, but it's also a wheelchair and then she gets dead.
Yeah, but she just gets weaker every day and she's got one knee that it just. She gets shots in it all the time, but it just gives out on her, and there's no other keep her from falling if it just gives out, so.
All right, then we'll bring this meeting back to session. Everybody's ready.
Yep. Well,
There you go.
Okay. So. We cut $1,557,000 154 from general. Last year, the request was 13,961,107, which is on page 45. If you deduct what we cut from this year's requested, it's $15,111 or $111,955. So there's only a difference.
Again, 100.
What we cut or what, okay, 15,111,955. So this total with minus last year's total, there's only a difference of $1,115,848 for general. This is just general.
So that was the 4%, that's basically the 4% and the theaters of a lot of that.
Yes.
So, okay.
So what we end up as far as the total budget, operating budget next year,
I
And the
didn't
general
figure the
fund.
rest of the budget, I only did the general.
what's the general again for next year?
We cut 1,557,154. So it equals $15,111,955.
And I think on Ben's spreadsheet, he had it at the 16 million something, right? So I think it's that, but
Basically 15.2 million.
yeah.
We've cut it up.
Well,
I feel like we have.
Ben's estimate was 16.6 something, right, Kelly?
I believe that's what he said, yes. So I think we've had enough.
It would be interesting to know when you get a chance, whether the total on the tiers, how much of that increase was actually tier money, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, will you be able, when you run the numbers, will you be able to tell us? What
Good email or
the tier cost us?
and they don't have to be today.
No.
65% that in our next meeting, if you
Yeah,
want.
for sure.
Yeah,
If you get us in there, you can email it out, but
and what the longevity for this year is too, so we'll know that'll go away next year. Kind of close.
The majority of that cut was out of the commissioners, or the insurance, so everybody else pretty much got what they got in there.
yeah, basically we look at wages
It's
too.
always the health insurance that gets us.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, Kelly, glad to see you made it.
Thank
Even
you.
though First, I'm glad to see you're able to make it. I'm glad to see your improvement.
You get to come, when you get to come on.
I will be home at the end of next week. So I've been approved for therapy for one more week. So probably what is next? A week from Friday, is that like September 5th or 6th, whatever that is probably when I'll be discharged and able to go home. So
Then you have to do outpatient therapy or?
yeah, I'll have to do some outpatient therapy still over at Greene County. So yeah, so it'll be nice to be out of a hospital situation.
Yeah, really. The food will be, whatever bread you could.
Well, Nathan says there's a lot of DoorDash delivered to Greene County.
There is a lot. Take out.
To patients.
Yep.
Oh, you're Greene County Hospital, you said Greene County, you meant Greene County.
We great hospital.
Yeah, Greene County Hospital rehab, so, or their therapy department is where I'll be going.
They're pretty good. The Rose is there, she's a little devil, but yeah, that's what I was gonna say, don't get Rose, she'll work you.
Right?
You meet the 30th of September,
Huh?
That's the last.
okay?
the 30th of September, we'll adopt this and
Yes.
I would just entertain a motion to conclude this hearing. Motion. Karen, second. All there?
Now you can take a roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Megan, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Karen, yes. Thanks, Karen.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
Next one, I got Terry's attention going around in this case there. What's on the on there, man?